And I can't hear myself at all. Am I? Oh, you got. There we go. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Nope, still can't hear myself. Why is that? Hang on. Technical issues, technical difficulties. We're gonna figure this out. Stay with me, everybody. Don't go anywhere.
Is he in program?
Check.
Is he in program?
Check.
Owen, look at the board. Is he in program?
Do. All right, hang on. We're gonna figure this out. Hi everybody. Hang with us. Minor technical difficulties here on the show. We're working on it though. Nope, not that one. Yep, that's all good. How about this mic? Nope. Hang with me, everybody. I would yell the show, but go grab an engineer, I guess. And we're gonna figure this out. Hold tight, everybody. It's Rob Brown, but like in a tin can from a distance. If you'll sit tight, because I got nothing. Actually, I don't even think I'm on the air yet. This is just a fantastic start to the show, Lonzo. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. Can you hear me?
Super. Don't know if Lonzo can hear me either. Take that as a no. Nope, and I can't hear you. All right. Well, outstanding. Hold, please, while we get this figured out. Any thoughts, suggestions, criticisms? This seems like a mild emergency of some type. Nothing's going out that I'm aware of.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, like I can hear.
It is though.
I can hear things moving, but it's just that my mic's not in the feed.
Should I fire a break?
Yeah, if there's something pulled up, yeah.
Your mic's not on.
My mic was on. Check. I'm using this one.
It's not powered up.
No, it was. It's on one. It's.
Okay, I'll wait. So now we just missed a break. I'm gonna have to add that back in. What in the world? Says your mic's still on. That's not his mic. That's your mic.
Put two on real quick. Check. Yep, that's it.
Jesus Christ. Good luck, guys.
Keep in mind, even though Rob doesn't have his headphones on, everything's on stream. If we're live, so tell Rob to put his headphones on.
I'm gonna jump back to the show open, Rob.
Yeah, that'll work.
It's coming on after this commercial.
Okay.
Hey, Rob, can you hear me?
How about now? He said successfully. Hello, upstate South Carolina. Hello, America. And hello, world. We're live. Question mark, he said, cautiously optimistic. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It's ESPN Upstate. Hey, let's just jump into it. Pot Lonzo up. Let's see if we can hear Zoe. Let's see if we can do the great one. I'm assuming the one that's up. Yeah, just turn all the mics on. Hi, Lonzo.
It would not be on a mic.
No, we got you. Yeah, turn him. You can turn him up more.
Yeah. Okay. All right. By the way, everything that was done was heard on the air and was on the stream. So
beautiful.
So there's that. It's all my fault. It's all my fault. It's all my fault. It's also my relative's fault for putting the speed bump where he did that. I could not make it up the hill, or I'd be there and we wouldn't be having this problem. So on behalf of the show, I apologize and blame my cousin.
So Lonzo is snowed in his guerrilla warfare training compound, between snow and a speed bump, and Lonzo's very, very nice car. He can't be here. So I'm here. Owen's sitting in on Lonzo's chair. Lonzo is at the compound this afternoon, joining us via StreamYard. So if you join us on the stream at facebook.com/ESPN Upstate, you can still hang out with all three of us, because we are going to get through this, damn it, one way or the other. Texter says this opening is surprisingly enough easier to watch and listen to than the Cardinals' performance last night. That's a good start. We're not as bad as Arizona, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in. The Rob Brown Show is on your radio. This is ESPN. I'm saying, look, not only is it technically a Monday, it's like a delayed Monday. So we had all the kinks of a Monday compiled on top of all the mistakes of the first day. It's, you know what? We're fine. We're fine. Deep breath, woosah, little meditation.
We're back.
Yeah, little yoga during the break. I think Lonzo's going to give a hot yoga class here in just a minute for those of us on the stream. We're going to get through this.
Yeah, but I got to do that naked.
So Lonzo's not going to do a hot yoga class on the stream, ladies and gentlemen. Owen will step into that role as well. Great to have everybody. Happy Tuesday. Thanks for coming along for the ride. It is going to be it's going to be a good one. We got three voices in on the show today. Owen Watterson filling in. What's up, big fella?
Who, like you said, started like a Monday, but we're back. We're good. We're here, and let's run a great show.
We're going to do our best. That's what we do here. We strive for mediocrity and occasionally succeed. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for coming in. Thanks for hanging out. Glad to have you. I am already discombobulated, but we're going to get through it because champions rise to the occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, champions rise to the occasion. A lot of stuff to get into today. Obviously, an NFL wildcard weekend, which was absolutely full of blowouts, including, statistically speaking, ladies and gentlemen, and Lonzo's going to take great pleasure in this, the Buffalo Bills, with the adjusted defensive stats taking into consideration, the Buffalo Bills had the greatest offensive performance of all time in the playoffs against Bill Belichick's hoodies earlier this weekend. And as we all knew, Lonzo, that Josh Allen is the greatest quarterback in the National Football League. It's official. Write it down.
For 1 week, you're absolutely right. You know, the best part is watching Belichick's head slowly disappear within the hood till all you could see was his wee beady eyes, and then watch him lose. It was glorious.
He genuinely had no idea what to do, and you could see it in his face. So we're going to get to that coming up in a little while. Speaking of the National Football League, they, ladies and gentlemen, have proven that they are now willing to lie directly to your face because you won't do a damn thing about it. I'll tell you what I mean coming up later on in the show. We got Owen here, so we're going to talk some Carolina Panther football as we got some quotes from Panther player exit interviews after the end of the season, and the Panthers have little money to play with and 20 free agency contracts that they got to figure out. We're going to go through some of the big names that are going to be free agents and see if we can figure out what the Panthers are going to do. Bob Bowlesby and the Playoff Expansion Committee met last week to talk a little bit about the potential. And at one point in the meeting, or should I say at the end of the meeting, Bob Bowlesby just stood up and left. Not, thanks for coming. Sorry we could. Just stood up, grabbed his briefcase, and left the room, which I got to tell you, Lonzo, on my favorite ways to quit a job list, just standing up, grabbing your briefcase, and leaving the room while the meeting is still going on ranks only behind Antonio Brown's ripping off the shirt and storming off the field.
You know, if only he would have said, "We out, yo."
We out.
And then walked. We out, yo. And then walked out.
Late, gone, bye. We're going to talk about that later on in the show and a whole heck of a lot more. But before we get into any of that, we are going to start the show with the lunch breakdown like we always do. And as soon as I get the thumbs up from Owen saying that we're ready, let's do the damn thing.
Let's do lunch.
This is a very nutritious lunch. All the food groups are represented.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
It is the lunch breakdown, the 3 things you have to know before you go start talking sports with your friends, family, coworker, or the dog, whoever you spend your lunch break with. When you gather around the lunch table today, these 3 things will be the scuttlebutt. These will be the topics of conversation that you are focused on. We start with item number 1. Took place over the weekend, but it's an interesting story nonetheless. Dabo Swinney has been a big fat on the transfer portal since it came into play. But for the second time in a month, Dabo has now accepted with open arms, with arms wide open, Scott Stapp might say, a big-time name out of the transfer portal. We knew that the QB room was going to be basically Cade and DJ next year. Well, you can now add a third name to that mix. Quarterback Hunter Johnson, once considered a top-tier recruit. In fact, the year that he came into the QB room at Clemson initially, my guy was a top 5 QB, the number 1 rated pocket passer in the nation, came to Clemson, but then left. Spent the past 4 seasons at Northwestern. The move to Clemson first reported by 24/7 Sports and adds some much-needed depth to Clemson's QB room at this point, as the big name is now back in. Hunter Johnson signed with the class of 2017 out of Brownsburg, Indiana, was rated the number 1 overall pocket passer by ESPN, played a limited role as the third-string QB true freshman before announcing a transfer in the spring of 2018, right after Trevor Lawrence signed on the dotted line. From 2018 through 21, Johnson appeared in 10 games at Northwestern, included 8 starts. He won just 2 of those, threw for 48% with 8 touchdowns and 8 picks to go. Johnson said he was planning on applying to Clemson's MBA program, approached Sweeney about serving as a grad assistant in 2022, and Dabo said, why don't you suit up and be on the team one more time? It's not anything, fellas, that's going to have an immediate impact on the field because he is more than likely going to be your third-string quarterback unless they redshirt Cade Klubnik, but I can't imagine that they're going to. But what it does do is give you a little bit of depth, right? We are not done with the Rona. Guys are still going to be having to sit out this season, likely with coronavirus. Fingers crossed we'll be done with it at that point, but who knows? And one injury knocks you down to having fewer quarterbacks. Listen, basically what it comes down to here, Zoe, is that QB depth was desperately needed at Clemson. Not a guy that's going to go in and tear anything up, but it gives you another set of shoulder pads on the sideline if DJ and or Cade were to go down to injury or the Rona.
Not just that. I mean, this is a capable guy who's been there before and can put some pressure on DJ now that everyone, is complaining about his struggles and things. It's no guarantee that he stays first string or second string with Hunter in the locker room.
Yeah, that's exactly right. No, and we're looking at the season DJ Uiagalelei had. Not what everybody assumed it was going to be. Does not mean he can't bounce back and be that guy this upcoming year, but he does have a 5-star breathing down his neck at this point. You're talking about adding competition in the QB room now with a guy who can step in and go, been there, done that, been at Clemson, know Dabo, know the system. Nothing at Northwestern screams game changer if both guys go down, but at least you're not having to pull a South Carolina and run a wide receiver at quarterback if you get into trouble.
Right. And I think that's exactly what Hunter Johnson is. Like you said, he knows Dabo, he knows the city, he knows the school, and he probably knows just about as many teammates as, a lot of other people do on that Clemson team right now. And I think maybe people aren't giving DJ enough credit. I know there's a lot of talk about Cade coming in and really having the chance to take his spot. But, I mean, if Trevor Lawrence's first season as a Tiger told us anything, I mean, he gave Kelly Bryant his chance. He had to make Kelly Bryant lose that job. And I just think that's going to be the case this year if DJ even loses it.
True story. Item number 2 on the lunch breakdown, and congratulations in order for South Carolina head football coach Shane Beamer, selected as the co-winner of the Steve Spurrier First Year Coach of the Year Award presented by the FWAA. Coach Beamer accepted that award alongside Tennessee coach Josh Heupel. Beamer, of course, leading the Gamecocks to a 7-6 record in 2021, a 3.5 game improvement over their 2-8 campaign in 2020, including an impressive 38-21 win over North Carolina in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Beamer's first year at Carolina, of course, included 4 different starting quarterback logging wins, a feat done only one other time back in 2014 by Utah State. Steve Spurrier said, quote, "There are two coaches this year because they are both very deserving. Preseason, their teams were picked next to Vandy at the bottom of the league, 12-13. But instead of gloom and doom, they took their players and improved every game, and both finished 7-6. It's extremely important for coaches in their first year that they come in with no excuses. They don't say, give me 2 or 3 years. They eliminate excuses. They take the team they got, they add to it the best way they can, and they go and compete." So no real shock there, Lonzo. Obviously, we were all, I think, very impressed by what Shane Beamer did this year with the Gamecocks. So for Steve Spurrier to recognize him, pick him out, for writers to recognize the growth in that team, it's good for Shane Beamer. It does set the expectations higher next year without a doubt.
This is an award. It doesn't really mean that much, but at the same time, isn't it kind of a slight having to share the award? I take it as kind of a slight.
I don't know, man. I mean, look, Josh Heupel did a great job at Tennessee. I mean, a phenomenal job. Tennessee, I think, was even in a worse spot than South Carolina, because when Shane Beamer came in, people looked at South Carolina as it's expected that they're the little guy, right? Like they're in Clemson's backyard, who was on top of the mountain coming into this year. They're in the SEC East. Florida was supposed to be somebody. Georgia was supposed to be somebody. Tennessee fans still, without justification, view themselves as a team that's just supposed to be in the national championship every year. They're just supposed to be a playoff team every year. They haven't been since Peyton left, right? Josh Heupel comes in with all of the chaos. And remember, Tennessee had a lot of behind-the-scenes drama, too, with Phil Fulmer and the old regimes in the last couple of years that have come through. Been a lot of drama. So for Heupel to take that team and do what he did in the face of that adversity, I got no problem with this award being split. I think that if you would have had to maybe pick one, I don't know that I could have, to be honest.
All right, to me. All right, so last year when you and I went to Columbia and we walked up on that stage and we accepted the award for the best sports show in South Carolina, would you have wanted to share that with someone? I wouldn't. No.
I mean, if there was someone worth sharing it with.
Well, there's that. So, yeah.
I think Lonzo makes a good point here, Rob. I think he caught you red-handed.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm all right. Item number 3 on the lunch breakdown, and obviously we are going to spend a lot of time breaking this down, but the wild card weekend wrap-up, we opened with a pair of games on Saturday in which the Cincinnati Bengals knocked off the Las Vegas Raiders 26-19. And look, the Bengals are the Bengals, right? Another buck 19 out of Jamar Chase on 9 grabs. Derek Carr had a good day, 29-54 for 310 through the air. But at the end of the day, the Bengals are just a better team. The story of that game was the complete and total ineptitude of the officiating crew. Jerome Boger and company, who will not be working another postseason game, yet they lied to our faces and the NFL backed up that lie. I'm going to tell you what that means coming up in just a little while. Saturday evening, in what is going to go down, I think, as an all-time playoff performance, Josh Allen, 21 of 25, 308, 5 touchdowns, in a 47-17 throttling of the New England Patriots. Bill Belichick, for the first time in as long as I can remember, Lonzo, looked lost. Everything Josh Allen did came up aces. The Buffalo Bills are no joke, Lonzo.
It was a glorious day if you don't like Belichick and you don't like New England. So I really enjoyed the entire beatdown and the fact that he had no answer. And yeah, Buffalo looks like the real deal, but they do have an obstacle that they haven't been able to get past, and they just happen to be meeting that obstacle next Sunday.
We will be talking about that game coming up here in just a minute. Sunday afternoon, 31-15, Tampa Bay knocks off Philly, and my question for Zoe is, you smell that? It smells like lunch, buddy.
Yeah, well, I was supposed to pay up today. Since I'm not there, I can't really.
It's all right.
Not.
I'm a fat guy, but I can delay lunch for a couple of days.
Okay, so you're saying you have lunch every day? Okay.
Oh,
All
yeah,
right.
I eat lunch every day. It's just that now you get to buy one of them for me, which I'm looking forward to greatly. I want the double patty on the burger.
Hey, that's fine. You choose. I pay up on my bets. I hate Tom Brady. Obviously, we know that. So I'm willing to make other bets maybe against him, like this coming week. We'll see. Maybe a double or nothing.
49ers beat the Cowboys 23-17 because the Cowboys, Owen, forgot how to football. They just forgot how to do a football.
The most Cowboys loss that could ever possibly be.
Unbelievable. Guys, Dak, what are you doing? What are you doing, Dak? Even Romo, he's got to go down. He's got to go down. And he didn't go down. Then the Cowboys did. We're going to circle back around to that one in a little while. Lonzo's Chiefs retire Big Ben Rob, because even if Big Ben wasn't planning on retiring, he has to now, doubling up on the Steelers, 42-21. Patty Mahomes, Lonzo, 30 of 39, 404, and 5 touchdowns for the baby goat. How about that?
That was an amazing performance, and it's good to see the offense getting back on track and the defense playing well. And I was pretty excited about the outcome. Yes. Now
we're going to come back to that game.
Yeah, because we're on to next week.
Yes, they are on to next week. And finally, last night, the LA Rams just beat the tar out of the Arizona Cardinals. 1, 2, 3, 4 blowouts in Wild Card Weekend. I'm going to ask this question, and we're going to circle back to it in a little while. Does this show that the expanded playoffs are not a great idea? Does this take away from the enjoyment of an expanded playoffs when 3 of these games are demo jobs? I got that conversation coming up later on in the show when we come back here in just a minute. Lonzo has not heard this. Owen has not heard this. I received over the weekend the greatest hate voicemail I have ever gotten in my career. It was 5 minutes long of a guy who is not a fan. I clipped out about a minute of the highlights of the greatest hate voicemail I've ever gotten, and I got it for you when we come back. I'm Rob. Lonzo's here. Owen's sitting in the chair because Lonzo snowed into the compound, but was gracious enough to join us from the Zoe Cave. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show. It's ESPN Upstate.
Back to you, Lonzo.
All right, so let me tell you about the health there. Now, thanks to
make sure that
Lonzo, what are you doing?
Rob is talking, so let me finish doing my live here. The health there is an amazing thing, and here's how I know it's amazing. I used to weigh nearly 400 pounds. There's no way I could have did what I did today. All right, so I made it halfway up the hill, and on my way back, I had to get out of the car and I had to walk back home. And here's the thing, I had to walk back home on ice. When I weighed 400 pounds, there's no way I could have made it up that hill. I would have been out of breath, probably would have fell down, would probably still be laying down there. But I lost 200 pounds of fat, put on 40 pounds of muscle, was able to get up that, even though carefully, hill without any problems, without being out of breath. I want you to be able to do that too. Maybe you struggled out in the snow because of how much you weigh and you want to lose that weight. Let the Health Dare get you there. With the Health Dare, you're going to lose weight in 30 days, guaranteed, or your money back. And you don't have to do it by yourself because you can bring in a buddy from work, you can bring in a relative, or bring in a spouse. You pay half, they pay half. You guys both get the program. You both get healthy from a cellular level. You're going to look good. You're going to feel good. You're going to have the energy to face the day. And here's how you get started with the Health Dare. Just go to idareme.com. Fill out some information, and one of the Health Dare coaches will bring you in for a free consultation, get you on the way to losing that weight. Go to idareme.com today. And when you're there, make sure you tell them that Lonzo dared you.
All right, sorry about that, Zoe.
All right, deep breath.
Oh, I'm
We're
good.
good.
We're good now. We're rolling. We're straight.
I'm not up on the board, right?
No, you're not. You're good.
Okay, I'm
I got
just
you on
checking.
I
Okay,
got
cool.
you in queue.
So if I have another live, make sure you let Rob know that I have it. That
Okay.
way, yeah.
Okay.
Well, he took his headphones off, so he couldn't hear me, so he didn't know that I was talking.
Is there the Harley Davidson at Greenville? Is that alive?
Yes, it is. You can tell next to it, it will have zeros on it, and the
Yeah.
cart number, I believe, starts with an L. I don't know if it shows up on the screen that way or not, but I think it does.
That one starts with com.
We good? We're good.
Yeah, we're good.
Make sure that and this is going to be one thing, the commercials, whatever router they're coming on, make sure during the breaks they're taken out of. Lonzo, what sends?
No,
What button sends?
It's
they're
not a
out.
utility.
They're
Okay,
out
perfect.
completely. I had them take it out before we even started.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah, so we're good.
All right, coming back.
Steven says Zoe's background is so much better than the grandma pics. Yes, I know that. Look at that. I can't do that. That's incredible from Zoe. Oh, back already. Love it. Let's go.
Let's do it.
In that audio clip is one called it's got VM in it. That's what we're gonna play here. So I'm sitting on the couch on Saturday afternoon, snowed in with the lady friend, and my phone pings. And it says, you have a new voicemail, which, we get voicemails from work very often. And it pings, and it usually says 15 seconds. And it's always, hey, this is so-and-so from blank and blank. And please call me back. Here's my number. But I look at the lady friend and I go, hey, I just got a 5-minute long voicemail. The voicemail was so long that it ran out of space. Like, it ate up my entire voicemail, right? And so I'm like, I have to download this. I have to listen to it right now. Now, the voicemail was 5 minutes long. I'm not going to give any identifying information. Although the caller did say, A, that I could share this voicemail. He's like, if you would like to play this voicemail. And B, said that his voice might be recognizable. Now, that's as much as I'm going to give you. But I've clipped out about a minute of the highlights of this voicemail. Lonzo's not heard this yet. Owen's not heard it yet. The only three that have heard it are the guy who left it, me, and the lady friend. And I just want you guys to enjoy this with the same sense of wonder and awe that I experienced when this dropped into my lap Saturday afternoon.
Deciding to not listen to this voicemail could have a dramatic outcome of Rob Brown's career, alleged sports journalism broadcasting career. Of course, FM is the more professional broadcast, and I dare say, as a veteran in the journalism business myself, 37 seasons, that should get your attention if you share the broadcast, this voicemail. So, Rob Brown, how about just leaving town? Tender your resignation. You're not welcome here. You're clearly not local. You're a legend in your own mind. You talk about some ratings domination as if there's anybody matching up against you, okay? You're not the dean of sports locally. Some yahoo out there wearing a suit might say, well, look at the popularity. This guy's better than this guy. Just do the homework. Leave. Maybe take Lonzo with you so we don't have to tolerate both of you all a second longer. And I'm right. You sound like a school kid. That should tell you, Rom, that you need to just pack it up, go with a package deal, ask ESPN to plant you somewhere in the middle of nowhere out in Big Ten country, or even go to North Carolina and be the voices of Wake Forest sports. Find a public relations department.
He is right. I am a legend in my own mind. That is correct. Lonzo, I am sorry to say that we are not welcome here, that we are not allowed to be a part of this area and the sports scene anymore, that there are more professional outlets than us. Lonzo, I want you to know it's been a pleasure working with you, but I have to tender my resignation immediately.
Hey, it was good working with you. It absolutely was. It was a pleasure. But caller, and I do know your voice, and I cringe every time you call because of how boring you are. But that's fine. And will I let you back on the air again? Probably not. Could you disguise your voice? I doubt it. And if you think you're getting rid of me, dude, I've been on the air 22 years here. I can't
I'm
even
just
be
saying.
home. I can't even stay at home, and I'm still on the air. And I hope you're listening right now, because there's a reason why that journalism degree is not working for you. Because you're boring.
Here's what I know. Here's what I know. I am a legend in my own mind. This is correct. Number two, I want you to know, voicemailer, that after I got your email stating that I am not welcome here and that I should tender my resignation immediately, Lonzo, I went back I walked 5.5 miles uphill back to the apartment, trudging through snow. It was like a scene out of every depressing teen movie after the star gets their heart broken. I walked into my apartment. I did not turn on the lights. I left the lights off because I felt that would make it look more sad. And Lonzo, I took our Crystal Trophy for Best Sports Talk Radio Show in the Upstate, and I just sat on my couch, and I started crying, which was very impactful because the scene was so emotionally depressing for me that it started raining inside of my apartment to make it look that much more dramatic. That's how bad it was. I just cuddled our trophy for Best Sports Talk Radio Show in the state of South Carolina and laid on my couch inside of the rainstorm and cried. I sat down this morning to turn in my letter of resignation, but when I tried to write it on top of that Crystal Trophy, the part where it has my name etched into it, I couldn't sign it. So I want you to know that I tried to do that, voicemailer. I tried to do that, but me and Lonzo's name on the trophy for Best Sports Talk Show in South Carolina, it just wouldn't let me finish the signature, and once I couldn't get the signature finished, it's like, oh man, I can't even get this right. How unprofessional of me.
I do have to ask, Rob, was In Your Eyes by Peter Gabriel playing in the apartment, or did you just hear it in your eyes? In your ears?
I actually grabbed the MP3 player and hooked it up to the Bluetooth so that it would be that much more dramatic. So I had that playing in the background, just rain pouring, but I was in regular clothes, right? Because it's emotional. You don't have time to put on a raincoat. I'm just in my regular clothes. By the way, I was in the customized Swamp Rabbits jersey that they gave me with my name across the back because of how disconnected I am with the local team. Right. And then I used the customized Greenville Triumph jersey that the Triumph gave me because I'm not connected with the teams here. I used that to dab my eyes and dab the tears out.
Hey, you just made that thing worth even more money.
I know.
Because it's got Rob Brown tears on it. Yeah.
I started calling the owners and the head coaches and the GMs, all golfing buddies of mine. And I was like, guys, I'm so sorry I'm not connected enough with the sports here in the Upstate, but I was going to try harder, but I've now been forced to tender my resignation by that one voicemail guy. So it was a very emotional Saturday for me, Lonzo, after receiving that 5-minute voicemail telling me that I'm not welcome here. I tried my best, people. I tried my best, and I'm just so sorry that I'm not the man about town that I wanted to be.
Hey, Rob, I can see how emotionally distraught you are. If I were there, I would give you a hug.
I can't promise that same thing, Rob. You're not getting a hug from me.
Thanks for the emotional support, buddy. Yeah. So anyway, that was. Listen, and by the way, you're all welcome. If you can find my office number, you're all welcome to leave your hate mail. All right. If you don't like the show, you are welcome to leave hate mail. I just want you to know that it devastates me to my core when I get voicemails like that. And my first immediate thought after listening to it is definitely not, oh, I got to edit that and play it on the air. That is definitely not the first thought that I had. The first thought that I had was, let me cry into my Crystal Trophy while I wipe the tears away with the customized game jerseys with my name sewn into both that multiple teams in the Upstate have given me because of my at least attempts to contribute to the local sports scene. Definitely not the first thing that I do with those.
Can I say one? Let me say one more thing real quick. I didn't notice an accent from the caller, so I'm just guessing. And that he's not from around here either. So what's local to him? I'm just saying, no twang, no nothing wrong with that. You're born here. You should have a little bit of an accent. And I guess his extensive broadcasting career may have gotten rid of the accent, but I don't think so. I think this dude's not from around here. I detect a northern accent in the way he speaks. And all I can say is go home, Yankee.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I want you all to know that I apologize for not getting myself more involved with the local sports scene. I recognize that the upstate does not welcome me here. I recognize that South Carolina does not welcome me here. I will do my best. I will do my best to rectify that. And in the meantime, feel free to send all of your not voicemails. I don't want you to call and tell me how great I am. All right. I want you to call me and tell me how terrible of a human I am. It gives me life. It gives me reason to keep on keeping on. All right. I wanted you all to share in that moment of glory that I received, because I got done listening to it on Saturday and just went, that was incredible. That was incredible. That entire 5 minutes was incredible. Let's take a break. When we come back, it's football time. Let's get into the wild card weekend. We'll look at a couple of results. The Buffalo Bills, one of the greatest offensive performances in playoff history. 4 of our 6 games in the opening weekend turn out to be absolute blowouts. Does the NFL need to go back to the old playoff format? We'll address that next. Rob Lonzo, Owen, and you on the Rob Brown Show. Not welcome in the upstate of South Carolina. It's ESPN Upstate. Lonzo, I will send you that entire voicemail when we get done with the show, because I need you to hear it as well.
Of course, I mean, I recognize that guy's voice. So.
Oh, I'm sure you did. I had to cut out the part, but he actually mentions in there. He says, if you play this voicemail, Lonzo will recognize my voice from the time that I called and put him in his place over a Burns football game or something like that.
Yeah, because you're pounding beers with the Reedy River Riot because you're just so unconnected with the community. Right?
Yeah, I have to apologize to the Reedy River Riot for bringing down the local sports. It's my fault. I'm so disconnected because I'm at every game, and I apologize for that.
Hey, I'm gonna go get the mic muff real quick.
Yeah,
I should also say that there are only 2 people in that building that can put me in my place.
Say that again.
There are only 2 people that can put me in my place, and they're in that building. And that dude is not one of them. My place is wherever I say it is. So now it's funny that people think so highly of themselves sometimes. I don't know. Just sounds like someone who wants attention. But if you don't have haters, you're doing something wrong.
Lonzo, you said SportsCenter doesn't play at the top of the hour, right?
Right. Not until 3:00.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay,
That's why we're putting that sports flash in there.
got it. Rob, would you do the Harley Davidson and Greenville live?
I did not, but I will.
You need to tell them when to do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It'll be after this exit, all right?
In the next break?
Yeah, this
10-4. The
set mode in there for you.
And for the record, the president of the Greenville Triumph has just texted to tell me that he wants to apologize. He said, clearly we have shown poor judgment in having you MC major events for our club. We will have to take this under advisement moving forward in light of deep analysis of your professional capabilities.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Keegan, we may have to. You may one day be called in to add unofficial substitute for the substitute board op if Lonzo keeps getting snowed into the compound.
The show just started off poorly. We're good for the rest of the time. You might not learn much more, Keegan.
See, you're going to learn very quickly. Don't say things like that. You have
I'll
set
ha-
yourself up.
I'll have you know, our boss was concerned about my car. So, I mean, there's that.
Yes.
Here we come. We're coming back.
Turns out in the playoffs, when you throw the ball 54 times, unless you have Brady, Breeze, Manning, usually doesn't go well for you. Derek Carr and his Raiders, 26-19 losers at the Cincinnati Bengals. But here's why I want to bring this up. Go back to that show audio clip for me, please. Owen, you will see in there one that says, if I recall correctly, the NFL is lying to you. Nope, sorry. It's clip number 4. Clip number 4. So this comes late in the game as Joe Burrow throws his second touchdown. This one's going to go to, who was it? Jamar Chase, I think, ended up catching the, no, Tyler Boyd. Sorry, Tyler Boyd caught this touchdown. And I want you to listen for 2 things. I want you to listen to the whistle that's within the call. And then I want you to listen to where Tirico and co are talking about the actual catch. And then I'm going to tell you why on the flip side. Here's that audio.
5 in the pattern, Burrow. Tries to keep it alive, scrambles. Throws it back in the end zone, but was he out of bounds first or is it a touchdown? I think he was out of bounds. They're discussing it. Caught in the back by Boyd. Conversation on the sideline here for the moment. No signal yet. Jerome Boger, the referee, is over here on the sideline. As they are in conversation, was he out when he threw?
The result of the play, touchdown.
Touchdown! And it certainly will get closer inspection. And Tyler Boyd goes up to celebrate in any case. Let's see. Yep, that's fine.
So, if you were paying attention to that, you heard while Tirico was talking about the rollout, a whistle blow before you heard the call for a touchdown to Tyler Boyd in the back of the end zone. Why is that? Because the referee blew the whistle while Joe Burrow was still running towards the sideline. Burrow jumped about a foot shy of the chalk. There was no like, oh, let's see if his toe might have touched a white blade. No. He's about a full foot short of the sideline. When he jumps, throws the ball up in the air, Boyd comes down with it. While Burrow's in the air, and after he has released the ball is still in flight, and an errant whistle blows. Now, errant whistles happen. I've refereed high school games. They're quick. Football's fast. An errant whistle's going to happen. Here's the problem that I have with this. The problem that I have with this is that the NFL is now willing to clearly lie to our faces about how bad the officiating is. Jerome Boger, who was the head ref in this, after the game, said that the whistle was blown because of the Tyler Boyd touchdown. Said that the whistle came to signify that there was a touchdown. Except for, we have the video, man. We have the video. The whistle very clearly blew right as Burrow's taking off in the air. The ball's in flight. There was no reason to blow the play dead. Now, I wouldn't be mad about the errant whistle, except for after the game was over. After the game was over, NFL Senior Vice President of Officiating Walt Anderson said, and I quote, "We confirmed with the referee and the crew that on that play, they got together and talked, and they determined that they had a whistle, but that the whistle for them on the field was blown after the wide receiver caught the ball. Except for, Walt, there's that whole problem about it didn't. There's that whole problem about clear and obvious evidence that you are, what's the word, Owen, when you say a thing that's not true on purpose? It's a damn lie, Walt. Lonzo, it's one thing to have bad officiating. It's another thing to have bad officiating and, as they used to do, go, whoops, blew that call. It is another thing to bold-faced lie when the evidence is on television about A, how bad it was, and B, the result of it.
All right, I'm not trying to defend anybody here, but have they, as the guy who did the whistle, has he said, hey, it was me? Because if you're listening to any game, you hear whistles going off all over the place. And from the crowd, from everywhere. I'm curious if the person who blew the whistle, can we pinpoint who it was to prove that it was indeed, I heard it was early, but it could have been from somewhere else. Do we know for sure it was a referee's whistle? That's what I'm saying.
Well, the NFL officiating crew, led by Vice President of Officiating Walt Anderson, have said, yes, that was an official whistle, and the whistle was to signify that Tyler Boyd caught the touchdown. But it didn't, because he, hadn't done that yet, which is a minor detail. To blow a whistle for a touchdown, it kind of requires freaking touchdown. And there wasn't one. I was watching that happen and was like, what's that whistle for? Because Joe Burrow clearly was in bounds. Clearly he was behind the line of scrimmage. Clearly it was a legal throw. And the ball's it's leaving his hand and in the air as the whistle goes off. My problem is not the errant whistle. That's going to happen. It's a fast game, and the guys that are officiating it have a lot to keep an eye on. The problem that I have is when the official, like the official's official, the official who represents all the other officials, comes out and says to the face of the NFL fans, yeah, that's not what you think you saw, because it was definitely this other thing, even though that other thing didn't happen. I'm all for, hey, it was an errant whistle. He blew it too early. The play stood as it should have, although if you go back, when you hear the whistle, you'll actually see two of the defensive backs from the Raiders quit running on the play. Now, I would say that's why you play through the play. But what you hear from every coach ever from the beginning, ever, is what? Play to the whistle. Play to the whistle. You play to hear the whistle, then you stop so you don't draw. These guys heard a whistle. They pulled off of Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd catches a ball basically uncontested in the end zone for a touchdown. And then, Lonzo, the NFL it's bad enough to get that call wrong. It's worse when you come out the next day and boldface lie to us about it as if we didn't just see the thing happen.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Owen.
I mean, how many times has that happened? And at the very least, the referees will come back a day or two later and they're like, okay, guys, we were wrong. We made a mistake. It happened. But like you said, I mean, we got video now. We got 4K, man. You got caught in 4K, bold-face lying to us about this. That's not cool.
Well, a couple of things. First of all, what's the solution, Rob? And second of all, if they didn't believe something was done wrong, as Keegan has pointed out, they wouldn't be punished, and they're being punished by not getting to ref any more playoff games, which I'm guessing means they don't get paid.
Right, correct. They are done, and Keegan did say, didn't they announce that the crew wouldn't work any other playoff games or the Super Bowl? Shouldn't that be taken as admitted guilt? Yes, and I'm good, right? Good. You can't make that egregious of an error in that spot, because remember, that's a 26-19 game. I'm not smart, but 26-19, the difference between those two numbers is a touchdown. It's 7 points. And I'm not saying if there's no errant whistle, then Tyler Boyd doesn't catch the touchdown. I'm saying if there's no whistle, then those Raiders DBs don't pull up because you play to the whistle, and maybe one knocks it down. And maybe now it's 19-19. I don't know that there's a way to fix that. Like, that mistake happened. It put points on the board. It sucks for the Raiders, but it is what it is. There is a way to stop the vice president of officiating from lying to NFL fans' faces. And the way to prevent that is don't lie to our faces, man, especially when you have had a full freaking season of getting beat up on for how bad the officiating has been. Lonzo, I got to tell you, man, if you caught me in a lie to your face as egregious as the one Walt Anderson told, I suspect you and I will be having some heavy conversations before we came back on the air.
Absolutely, we would. Again, I think if they went ahead and punished them without saying they didn't do anything wrong, then everyone would be fine. It's kind of a mixed message. So which is it? Did the whistle blow or did it not? You're punishing them because you're basically saying it did. But again, human error, what can you do?
Not lie about it. Literally, I would have accepted, hey, it was a mistake. It's a fast game. Our guy got caught up. He believed this happened. He blew the whistle. It was a mistake, and we are apologizing for that. I would have come in here and gone, they owned it. They owned it. And now it's something they can work on, a teaching moment, and fix it. Instead, they went, no, a mistake? Who, us? The NFL? The officials? No, not us. We would never. Welcome, NFL, to the Hall of Shame. Quick break, come back, wrap up hour number 1. My name is Rob Brown, the great one. Lonzo snowed into the compound, hanging out with us anyway. Owen's on the 1s and 2s. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It's ESPN Upstate. Tell you about my friends at Harley Davidson of Greenville. So, it was a nasty weekend. And Saturday during the day, as we're snowed in, I woke up, took the shower, and I'm standing by the door. And the lady friend walks up and she's like, what are you doing? And I went, I don't know. She's like, we're snowed in. What are you doing? And I said, I don't know. Do you know why I didn't know? It's because I wanted to go ride my motorcycle, man. It was a beautiful Saturday morning, except for the white stuff on the ground, and I couldn't do it. So I'm going to scratch that itch this weekend a little bit. Get out there and ride just a little bit, and it is because of my friends at Harley Davidson of Greenville. Listen, whether you're looking for a little cafe cruiser because you want to bolt around downtown, save some gas. Maybe you're looking for a big hog because you like to tear up the roads. Maybe you're in the mood for a big cruiser so that you can go on those long hauls. Whatever you're looking for, you need to start by going to Harley Davidson of Greenville at 30 Chrome Drive, because between having the brand new 2021s and coming in soon, the 2022s, and having the largest pre-owned selection in the upstate, the bike of your dreams is there. And once you find the exact bike you want, they can help you customize and upgrade it with all the bells and whistles and gadgets and gizmos that your little heart desires to make it the perfect bike for you. And once you get that bike, they are going to get you outfitted from helmets down to boots. They're going to show you where to ride, when to ride, how to ride. It is not just buy a bike and you're done. You are part of a family at Harley Davidson of Greenville. Go to upstateharley.com, upstateharley.com. See the entire inventory and get started on the path to the bike of your dreams with our friends at Harley Davidson of Greenville. At the restroom real quick.
Go ahead. Okay, Alonzo, can you hear me?
I can.
So when we come back, we'll have rejoin, Rob will talk. Do I go straight into Sports Flash or do I need an exit with some music?
There should be an ID before the Sports Flash.
Oh, okay. That's what I'm missing. Okay.
So play music at 59, leading into, and then play the ID at 59:50. He'll know. So just start playing the music at 59.
Got it. Cool.
How long is this break? What time will we be coming back?
Rob just went to the bathroom. We got 30, 2.5 minutes.
All right. So you'll have some space in between. Okay.
Okay, so I need to put that ID right there and every other break too. I have the other break. Yeah. Okay, cool. Do you actually believe it's going to snow again, like Keegan's saying, Lonzo?
According to weather reports, yes. We'll
I
see.
don't know. I didn't believe it was going to happen this past weekend, and I was absolutely proven. I couldn't even get out of my driveway, just like you, for 2 days.
Yeah, I believed it was going to snow because I have a reconstructed knee that only hurts when it snows, which is why one of the
Must be
reasons
in the
why I
weather
moved
report.
here. No, it's arthritis, but which I don't believe is just north. Could be wrong. I believe you get those here too. But yeah, it's arthritis, and my knee does not like snow. So, and neither do I either, for obvious reasons.
Yeah, this is nothing, I'm sure, compared to some of the stuff you've seen in Ohio. I could never deal with it for 5 months, 4 months. It's too much.
Well, my concern was not getting on the road. If I was made it on the road, I'd have been fine. It's just I cannot get past one of the hills on my driveway.
Right.
If I get past that thing, I'm good. It's
Yeah, all the main roads are clear, all the interstates, 385, 85.
just hoping enough sun has hit the side of that hill to get me past that stupid speed bump.
When's your guest, Rob?
120. 30. 30? 130. I'll look it up. I'll tell you. I'll get you the number.
One-ish.
One-ish.
We're coming back in a second, Rob. 5.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Rob Owen and Lonzo with you here on a snowy white upstate. I mean, it's not snowing, but the stuff's still all over the ground. Lonzo, how's the knee feeling, buddy?
Well, it's fine now because you're wondering about Friday. Ask me Wednesday, which is tomorrow, I guess. Yeah.
Lonzo's snow knee prognostication on last Friday was it's gonna snow or it's not. So we'll see if it's a little more dialed in on Wednesday because forecast calls for more snow potentially on Friday. What a weekend that was, eh? What a weekend that was. Thank you, 4-wheel drive, is all I can say.
Did you know I learned just the other day that having 4-wheel drive absolutely doesn't affect your ability to drive over ice and snow? Did you know that?
Yeah, it turns out ice doesn't care how much is on it. It's
Nope, not at all.
It's still ice. It's still ice. All right, coming up in the next hour of the show, we are going to be slammed up. We are going to open, ladies and gentlemen, by asking the Dallas Cowboys a very pointed question. And that question is, what? Just what? I don't understand how you can be in that spot, in that moment, in that game, in these playoffs, and screw the pooch that badly. How do you do that? I don't know. We're going to break that down coming up in the next hour of the show. We mentioned earlier, Shane Beamer wins the Steve Spurrier Award for Best First-Year Coach. He wins it alongside Josh Heupel of Tennessee. Does this push your expectations of next year up a little bit more? Does that increase what you expect out of this team? Joe Giglio of BetQL is going to join us. We'll look at some of the better bets that are available for you in this weekend's NFL Divisional Round of the playoffs and more. My name is Rob Brown. My man Zoe snowed into the compound, joining us anyway because the internet's great. Owen filling in on the board today. We got 2 hours of sports talk radio greatness coming down the pipe on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
Go grab my drink.
Yes, indeed.
Joe's number is it in the Rolodex?
No, I've got it. I'll give it to you.
Next one up on the Sports Flash. So, Rob, we got a QC Kinetics at 2. Lonzo have out there. We got time. We should probably stop this. First hour. Gordon. Is it cool if I post these hours after we're done with the show, Rob?
Say again?
Is it cool if I post these hours after we're done with the show? Okay. Just make sure. All right.
Just make sure focus on that on-air product for right now. We'll take care of that afterwards.
Heard.
We're gonna go clip 2 here. Not right here. Not right here. Just have it ready. Our numero dos of the Rob Brown Show goes now. This is ESPN Upstate. Hello, Upstate South Carolina. Hello, America. Hello, world. I am Rob Brown, the great one. Lonzo with us today from the compound. Owen in on the 1s and 2s. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for being a part of the show. Lonzo, isn't it nice to just be able to kick back and metaphorically put your foot up on a stool and metaphorically just talking to a mic where somebody else touches the buttons? Isn't that fantastic?
No, I got to find other things to do. I am actually doing something else while we're doing this because I'm used to doing many things at once because I'm a multitasker. And if I put my foot up on the stool right now, I will knock my laptop over.
No rest for the weary.
You know what? If I get too comfortable, you guys will just be watching me on here. If you're on the ESPN Upstate, you can see my favorite gift that my wife got me. This looks like it belongs in Rob's living room. It is it's a Sherpa blanket.
Are you knocking the Sherpa blanket?
If you look on this,
that's a go.
No. This legitimately is my favorite gift. I got a ton of nerdy things for Christmas. This Sherpa is awesome. But if I cover myself in it right now, I'm snoring because it's warm.
Big fan. All right, San Francisco, Dallas. This weekend, we get down to 14 seconds left to play. The Dallas Cowboys find themselves in need of a touchdown to catch up with the San Francisco 49ers. In fact, the touchdown plus the XP would win them the game and move them on to just, I believe, their 4th playoff victory since 1995. So Dak and the boys inside the 50. They got 13 seconds left to play. The 49ers running a sideline defense to keep the ball in bounds because Dallas is out of timeouts. And this happens.
Dak has to get this out of bounds or he's taking a shot to the end zone. This is scary because I would take a shot to the end zone here when they're in the sideline defense because you actually can hold on to the ball. You need someone, San Francisco, to get to the quarterback here.
Prescott takes off running the football. Whoa, I don't think this is going to work out.
Well, they'll be able to clock this. They were playing for it. It's down. Oh, my gosh.
The official gets in the way. The game's over.
Gosh.
The game is over. Oh, he did. Oh, they're going to look at this.
It's going to be over because the umpire has to touch the ball. Of course, that's ridiculous for a game to end like that, Jim. Wow, I am livid if I'm a Cowboy fan and if I'm a Niners
That's the
fan.
end of the game. The game is over. The game is over, and San Francisco survives and advances.
And that's how it ends. Dak takes off running, picks up 14, slides down. The official, the umpire who comes in from the back, has got to reset the football. That's his job. Once he resets the football, then the head official will give the snap or give the signal that the ball can be snapped. However, Dak going down, the center picks up the ball, he places it, he gets down there. The umpire has to then push his way through the offensive line, set the ball. He backs it up about 2 feet, meaning the whole offensive line now has to back up to be on sides before the snap can happen. The clock runs out to 0, and Dallas finds a new and inventive way to once again break the hearts of thousands of Cowboys fans who all immediately become very popular memes across social media at that moment. You know, I heard a lot of people on Twitter saying things like, you know, I didn't know the umpire had to touch the ball. I didn't know. And that's all well and good. You know what you aren't? The starting quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, right? That's one of those things that you have to know. I know a lot of people learned that information from Tony Romo when even he was going, oh, no, they got time. They're fine. They're fine. They're fine. While the play clock is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1ing down to 0. Lonzo, I'm kind of at the point now where I know we've been making Atlanta Falcons choke job jokes for years now. I know the 28-3 jokes will never stop being funny to a lot of us. But my goodness, at least the Falcons were credible in some of those losses. The Cowboys just absolutely screwed up. There's no other way to put it.
The play call itself, I think, is very suspect. Why you call that play down there? But even so, you're right. You should know that the umpire, the referee, whatever, has to touch the ball before it can be set. If not, then any center can just run up and you can hike the ball and get those guys off sides every single time. That's why you can't do that. I don't get the play call itself. Take some shots at the end zone. Why do that? They put themselves with that play call in that position that they didn't need to be. They could have had 2, 3 shots at the end zone if they stayed where they were and just threw the ball.
And the thing that makes me mad about the play call is either 1 or 2 plays right before it, that little, I think it was a little post to Cedric Wilson, and then he shoveled it to CeeDee Lamb, got a nice chunky yards on one of their first plays after they got the punt back. I mean, you see something like that and you're like, oh, okay, here they come. They got a chance. And then in typical Cowboy fashion, they didn't have it. They didn't do it.
I don't understand it, right? So I understand the run, and I understand thinking, here's the deal. You got 14 seconds. That at max is 3 plays. Max is 3 plays, right? So max 3 plays, including anything that's short of the end zone and inbounds, has to be a spike. Max of 3 plays. I don't have an issue with Dak taking off and running to shorten up the distance by 8, 9, 10 yards, knowing that you limit yourself to a Hail Mary at that point, because one of those plays now has to be a spike, and then the next one has to be a shot to the end zone. I get taking off and run. I don't get how it is that McCarthy, because the clock was stopped right before that, the guys were on the sideline. I don't know how it is that Mike McCarthy is not grabbing Dak by the face mask and going, if you run 5, 6, 7 yards and go down, and then we have 1 shot left. Not understanding how the clock is going to run there is a junior varsity mistake. And I genuinely think the Cowboys were good enough to win one more playoff game. I think they were good enough. But my goodness, if you can't figure out how to correctly play football when you have that situation left in front of you, Lonzo, you don't deserve to move on.
No, you don't. And now the question is, does McCarthy take all the blame? And he probably should. Will he remain the coach for the Dallas Cowboys? And I guess Dak's going to be there. So you got who you got with him, but would a new coach fix things? I don't know if it will or not.
So Steven Jones, Jerry's kid, and the next in line to own the Cowboys when Jerry moves on, has already said Mike McCarthy's coming back, right? He's like, we got faith in him. It was a mistake, whatever. And that's all well and good. The one person that, funny enough, because I think Dak Prescott's been getting beat up on in the media like a lot this year. Dak's been taking a lot of heat. And after the injury last year to the ankle, the injury earlier this year to the leg, I think Dak's been good. Not great, but good. Certainly good enough. I don't want to beat up on a guy who's been playing through the injury and playing well, but Dak's got it. You're the quarterback, dude. And not only are you the quarterback, I hate to be cliche here, you're the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. That is supposed to be, if not one of, if not the most prestigious jobs of any player in the NFL is the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But with that comes some things like, knowing how the clock works when you get into a do-or-die situation like that. Mike McCarthy absolutely deserves some of the blame for how that went down. I'm sorry to say that Dak Prescott deserves some too. You have got to know in that situation that anything that results in the ball being downed in bounds has got to take no longer than 7 seconds. Anything longer than 7 seconds, and you risk not getting a spike in a final playoff, because it's not just getting the spike in, it's getting the spike down with time left on the clock. And that includes getting the lineup and everything. Dak's got to know better. I don't mind the run if he picks up 5 or 6 or 7 and moves the ball to the middle of the field to open it up to give you an equal field on both sides of the football. But in that spot, good Lord, Owen, you got to have some freaking clock awareness, man. And he just didn't.
Right. And I know we're putting a lot of blame here on Dak. He didn't have a lot of time. They started that drive after the punt from the 49ers. Good. I want to go back to the 49ers possession right before the Cowboys got the ball back, because the Cowboys shot themselves in the foot, not just then, but the entire game. I think they had 15 team penalties, which was either tied a postseason record for the Cowboys or something like that. And if we go back to that hold that Randy Gregory had on 3rd down to give the 49ers another set of downs and take even more time off the clock, I mean, the Cowboys defense was doing stuff like that the entire game. And if that doesn't happen, they get the ball back with probably a minute and a half more to go. And this isn't even something we're talking about right now. So I think the Cowboys defense should have done a little bit better. They knew exactly what Kyle Shanahan was going to do. He was going to run it straight at them with Deebo Samuel. And it didn't stop them from getting the stop and coincidentally getting a penalty to ruin all the work that they just did in typical Cowboys fashion.
The mistakes that Dallas made, and listen, it's playoff, man. In the playoffs, inherently, the team across from you is going to be good. There's very little margin for error. Playoff mistakes are going to happen. It's just how football works. Nobody's ever going to be perfect in any game, but there is a difference, Zoe. There's a difference between making a mistake in the second quarter that maybe shortens the field up for the other team. There is a difference between, hey, it's a turnover. Turnovers happen in football versus just go down and give yourself a chance to win, knowing that the fastest time for an umpire, because think about it, the umpire already is 11 to 15 yards away from the ball, right? He sets the ball and then he backs up. He's 10 to 15 yards behind the ball, which means that if you're going to run 15, that is now 30 yards that an NFL umpire has to run to get to the ball to put it down. I don't care if it's the most in-shape ref of all time. You're looking at 5 seconds. You're asking a 40-yard dash out of an NFL umpire, the majority of which are not the best in-shape dudes on the crew. You have to know that you're looking at least 4 seconds for that guy to get from the spot on the field, Zoe, to get to where he's got to touch the ball to put it down. I don't know how to say it. It's one thing when a football play doesn't go your way. It's another thing when you just mentally check out and it costs yourself a game.
Yeah, there's too many things factored in there that can go wrong that you're putting in other people's hands. Like you said, counting on that ref to get down there in time. Don't put yourself in that position. Take some shots at the end zone or take some more shots at the sideline. You were driving down the field already, and then you stalled because you did. The play call makes no sense. I don't understand it.
I don't. I genuinely don't. It's just it's my old man used to talk to me about brain farts, right? And he'd say, look, brain farts are going to happen, and they're going to happen in high-pressure situations. But, man, they can't in a spot like that. I'm not asking for perfection. I'm asking just know the basics. This is football 101, right? Like, you have to know in this spot, this guy's got to get up here. He's got to set the ball. The center, in fact, if anything, the fact that the offensive line, credit to them because they were on the hustle bus, Jack. As soon as that ball was down, those boys were 5 wide ready to roll. But in being 5 wide ready to roll, if the umpire doesn't have to fight through the guard in the center to touch the ball and then back them up 1.5 feet to where the offensive line's got to reset and then fight to get back through them to get to position, if that guard's out of the way, they might get that snap off with 0.45 seconds left and get the throw down to the end zone. But again, you got to know where you are in the game. And the fact that this can happen with this organization that has worked so hard to take the next step and get a playoff win for the first time in forever, it's frankly unacceptable. If I was a Dallas fan today, I would be heated.
The first thing I did after that game, and what I hope all of you did after the game, was text the plethora of Cowboys fans in your phone and proceed to make them feel even worse about the loss, because that's one of the best things about the Cowboys losing, isn't it?
Yeah. All right, let's take a break. When we come back here in just a minute from right now, we will look at some of the other games. By the way, Deebo freaking Samuel, 10 carries, 72 yards on the ground, add in 3 for 38 through the air. The dude is really good at football.
Special.
Really good at football. We'll break his game down. We'll get to the rest of these NFL wildcard games and more when we come back. I'm Rob. He's Owen. He's Lonzo. This is ESPN Upstate.
Oh, is he this next segment, Rob?
Yeah. No. One after that. Sorry. Let me cut the mic. I'm going to go ahead and give you the number. Hang on, Zoe. I'm cutting the mics for a second.
And you said not this segment, the next
But
one.
the next one, correct.
I am supposed to be using this the stream ready audio, right? Like the RBS stuff.
Yes.
Okay, I've been using that the whole time, just making sure. What?
Activities.
That was weird. There's just like a dead spot in that.
That was really weird.
It's a that QL spot, and they're not real tight. We don't do those. They do.
Got it.
Some of the national spots we get from corporate are not as tight as they should be, so nothing we can really do about it.
Okay.
Don't let them keep giving you steroids, and don't let them tell you surgery is your only option. Get a free second opinion at QC Kinetics. Do it now and imagine life in 2022 without pain. Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics now. 864-448-3760. 3772. 864-448-3772. That's 864-448-3772. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. Wait a minute. I've heard that before. That's the note Jeremy wrote to me in my yearbook in the 6th grade. How'd you even know that? Because it's from Geico. Yeah, wait, here it is. Dear Luke, have a great summer. P.S. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. Love, Jeremy. Geico's had this tagline for years because we help save people money. So wait, you're saying Jeremy copied you? Yeah, that actually does sound like something the J-Man would do. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good. Really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless. Now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Hello, equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability coverage and may vary.
Joe Giglio, BetQL, joining us in the next segment. We'll take a look at some lines that we like over the weekend. But before we get there, I'm going to keep going through the wild card weekend, but I need y'all's thoughts on this. I'm really intrigued by this. Adam Rice, who covers the Houston Texans for The Athletic. Adam just put out a few minutes ago, a couple days ago, a very interesting tweet that has gotten a lot of reaction. You know, they fired David Culley, their head coach, a couple of days ago, 1 season on the job, and it was ugly. And it remains ugly because the Texans are I believe the scientific term is dumpster fire. It's not a good program right now. According to Adam Rice, who covers the Texans for The Athletic, he said that during games and practices, Nick Caserio, acting GM for the Houston Texans, was quote, Nick Caserio was part of David Culley's practices and was on the headset giving Culley on the headset advising Culley on game management, end quote. So Nick Caserio, general manager and definitely not head coach, was on the headset interacting with David Culley and giving him, quote, game advice, end quote, on how to coach the team during games. I will tell you this right now, as we're the day after the Raiders have fired Mike Mayock after 3 years in GM position there in Vegas. Lonzo, I'll tell you right now, I think I'd take a decent coach and a great GM over a great coach and a bad GM any day of the week. And the fact that the Texans have had this guy in charge who's made bad decision after bad decision and have allowed him to effectively be the voice in David Culley's ear, and then had the stones to fire the guy because of his lack of on-field performance when it's coming from the GM in part. I got to tell you, as much as we can bag on the Cowboys, man, at least they're not the Houston Texans, Lonzo.
Yeah, I was going to say, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't recall ever hearing a story where Jerry Jones is on the headset telling the coach what to do. This is new, and I'd rather have Mayock on the headset telling me what to do. At least he seems to have some knowledge of the play. It sounds like a setup is what it does. It sounds like a setup, like, here, do this, just so you can fire the guy. It's ridiculous.
Oh, and I said at the beginning, I said when they made this hire, I didn't understand the hire at the time. You were trying to do whatever you could do to make Deshaun Watson happy to try to get him to stay there because the dude's a franchise right now. You bring in an older coach that has no connection to Deshaun. You don't involve Deshaun in that decision at all. I said from the beginning, I thought they needed somebody to lay at the sacrificial altar just to get him through this year. And the fact that Caserio was in the year. Now, I've got a lot of people on Twitter who are pointing out at this point that Caserio did the same thing when he was the GM in New England. And that's fine, and that's cool. But I got $1 to a donut that said if Caserio said, hey, Bill, here's what I'm thinking, and Hoodie didn't like it, Hoodie was going to go, we all right, dog. Why don't you hit that little red button on the side with the headphone with the line through it and get off my chat, right? Get out my DMs. David Culley, a first-year coach who had never been a coach, who was being a coach for the first time, is probably sitting there going, yeah, I probably better listen to this guy. He's the one that authorizes my paychecks here. And then you can the guy. What a joke of an organization the Houston Texans are.
Yeah, I mean, they just took absolute advantage of David Culley. I mean, from the moment he walked into that job, he started getting barraged with Deshaun Watson questions. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And in my opinion, he handled most of that fairly well. He was like, we're going to keep it in-house. We're not going to talk about it. I'm going to focus on the guys I have here right now. He did a fairly good job with Davis Mills, who was a later round quarterback pick. I think he exceeded most all of our expectations when he played half decent. And I just think he landed in the wrong spot. Like you said, it is an absolute dumpster fire right now with all the attention on Deshaun when it really shouldn't be at this point. That situation's been going on so long. And I can almost guarantee the moment Culley gets another position, I'd probably be as a coordinator. I doubt he'll get another head coach job so fast. But he seems like the type of guy that can last in the NFL when a guy not named Nick Caserio is behind his ear. Because you're right, when your paycheck authorizer is sitting in your ear saying, this is how we need to play, this is what we need to do, and it's your first year as an NFL head coach, what else are you supposed to do?
Yeah, if he says that to Hoodie's just going to flash a fistful of silver at him and go, I think I got this. Culley's not. Here's the thing that makes this really interesting to me, Zoe. David Culley's Texans overperformed. 4 wins in a year that Vegas had them projected to get 2.5 to 3.5 wins. They actually hit the over for win total without Deshaun this year. And that was a team, and you and I talked about this on the air at one point, Lonzo, a lot of credit because this Houston Texans team, they played their tails off. Even they got a couple of decent wins this year. They had a fist fight of a season under David Culley. It seemed like, and I don't know if it was because of or in spite of the Deshaun Watson situation, this team probably played like a team more than, hell, the Detroit Lions did at certain parts of the season. But as long as the clown shoe organization run by the McNair family down continues to allow this to happen, why would you keep being a Houston Texan fan at this point? Just why?
Yeah, I don't know any of those. I'm sure they exist. The other thing is, think about this. If they would have had a decent quarterback, a couple times they had an okay quarterback play, they would have won even more games. That's how good they were. That's how hard they played. If Deshaun played, they may even have made the playoffs this year because they played that hard. And is it because of this coach? It might be.
I got to give him credit and think it was, right? I got to give him credit and think that it was. I mean, again, maybe the team just gelled because Deshaun said, deuces, I'm out. I could dress, but I ain't going to. And the team said, screw that. Let's go show we don't need just one guy. I mean, maybe that's it. But you still need somebody to gel around. You still need somebody to kind of be that guiding voice. And I think David Culley, being a guy getting his first chance, may have been just that figure for them in that spot. But again, this is what happens when you have a guy who thinks he's bigger than he is in the role, right? I put the misgivings of the Dallas Cowboys predominantly at the feet of Jerry Jones. And I have for years. I've called it, and I've gotten some heat for this morbidly, the Al Davis phenomenon. That is to say, you get some cats that think that they are bigger than they are in the position that they're in, and they refuse to acknowledge that, hey, maybe I'm wrong. It's important to recognize when you're wrong and to fix that. Otherwise, you get locked into the pattern that the Raiders were in, right? The Raiders were in for under Al Davis towards the end of his tenure. Al was the guy who said, I'm drafting every 40-yard dash that's under 4.3 to my team. No questions asked. Even though most of them ended up not being able to catch, they just kept doing the same things over and over. Jerry Jones does that with the Cowboys, and the Cowboys since 95 have done what? Get to the playoffs, lose in the first round, over and over and over. I'm at the point now where I'm looking at the Texans and going, you are locked in that cycle already until you get rid of Easterby, until you get rid of Caserio, and until the McNairs move on and stop hiring those type cats to be their guys. The difference is JJ's 114 years old. He ain't going to be around a whole heck of a lot longer. I hate to be morbid, but it is what it is. The McNair family, they young in NFL owner terms. This is a cycle that unless it's broken now, the Texans are going to be irrelevant for freaking years.
And the sad part about it is it was not that long ago at all where we were looking at the Texans, and until the Titans really started to step up their game, they were the kings of the AFC South. I mean, we were waiting on them to take that step from, okay, we're making the playoffs just because we're winning our division every year, to actually getting past the divisional round with Deshaun Watson, giving him an offensive line. And like you said, before Tyrod Taylor got hurt, this team was, I don't want to say legit, but they were a tough out every single Sunday. And even when Davis Mills comes in, man, I mean, I think that was the game they played the Panthers actually early in the season, was his first start, and they almost won that game. Even Christian McCaffrey ran out, but come on. It all starts with ownership. I don't have anything bad to say about David Culley. I'm sure some of his game management could have been better at times. That's what happens when you have a first-year coach. But compare what he did with what he had to what a guy like Matt Rule did with what he's had over the past 2 years. Come on.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. Again, I think that Culley deserves more credit than he's gotten. I think Culley did a very respectable and commendable job in getting this team to, again, they hit the over. I mean, as Vegas goes, that's what you're asking for. Hit the over and build expectations year by year. But to find out the GM is calling on the headset down to the head coach in game and going, this is what I want. Well, then, bro, put on a visor and get your scrawny little behind down here and call the plays. If you know better than me how to be the head coach, then come on down and hire yourself as head coach, bro. The scary part is I think Nick Caserio would do that if you told him to.
Yes, he would.
I think he would. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, Joe Giglio of BetQL joins us. We are going to look through some of the favored bets for this NFL Divisional Round matchup. May even swing into a couple of other sports as well. Owen's at the board. The great one, Lonzo, is in the what are we calling it? The Zoe Cave? Are we working with Zoe Cave here?
I'm going with Game Room. Game Room works.
In the Zoe Cave. We're back after this on the Rob Brown Show at ESPN Upstate.
You have to type 8 before the number, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Silver, if you're still watching, hello. Hi.
Good news. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/joy. That's forhims.com/joy for your free online visit. forhims.com/joy. When others treat your fries as a thought, all you're left with are cold, salty fries. That's why Wendy's new fries are ones you won't forget, guaranteed to be hot or will replace them. We're talking natural cut, skin-on fries, perfectly seasoned with a hint of sea salt. In fact, they're even preferred almost 2-to-1 over McDonald's. These are fries so hot and crispy, they beg a new question. What would you like with your fries? Try them today, only at Wendy's. Hispanic U.S. Wendy's taste preference based on initial taste test by independent research. At Churches, we're doing 10 pieces of our crave-worthy comfort made spicy or classic. That's 10 legs and thighs packed with bold flavor. That's how we do value. So you can do the Churches 10 starting at $10.99 deal. Churches, bringing them down home flavor. Offer valid at participating locations.
I'm Pablo Torre, host of ESPN Day, where every morning we present the best sports story of the day. And ESPN Daily is presented by Supercuts. Supercuts is the perfect way to get a haircut. If you're someone who doesn't have time for a haircut, you can check it on Supercuts app, or you walk in for a fall.
He hasn't answered yet, Rob.
Give him a couple more times.
It's not just any haircut. Supercuts. Check it now on the Supercuts app.
It's gone voicemail twice. Try one more time.
It's his voicemail?
Yeah, it's gone
Okay.
voicemail twice.
What are you working on, Trish?
One more time.
Ready for an oil change? We can help get the right protection at the right
5 quarts of Valvoline Daily Protection or Valvoline Max Life High Mileage Motor Oil with an STP oil filter for just $28.99. Visit one of
All right,
our
Rob, we're about to come back.
Okay, just keep trying to give him 2 or 3 more tries. All right, working on getting Joe Giglio on from BetQL. I know Joe's also got his own show that he's got to work around up there, so we'll see if we can get Joe on here in just a minute. In the meantime, let's take a look at a couple more wild card games that went down this weekend. Patriots Bills. Man, what a freaking game for Josh Allen. 21-25, 308, 5 touchdowns in that one. And you know, it's interesting. We talked a little bit about Josh Allen last week and the fact that this dude, we talk about strong arms and accuracy being the 2 things a quarterback's got to have: the ability to get the ball down the field and to put the ball where it needs to go. But Lonzo, Josh Allen, I don't know that with a full segment we could sit here and come up with the compliments. It's a game. I don't want to sit here and start talking about Josh Allen being the next GOAT or anything like that. It was a game. But Josh Allen was freaking on point against the Patriots. The Patriots were never in that game. It was 14-0 at the end of the first quarter. It was 27-3 at halftime, and the Patriots just couldn't get anything going. What a heck of a job by the Buffalo Bills.
It was a great job. It was a fun game to watch. Here's the one thing that I think you need to worry about, though. I mean, this is a rivalry game. This is a game where Buffalo has struggled classically, at least the last couple of decades, with New England. Now they got past them and they did that. Does that carry over into the next week? Do you take that like, yeah, we did this to them, so we can go into the next game and do the same thing? I hope not, for their sake. Well, actually, I do hope for their sake, but still, we're going to find out what they do. Josh Allen, though, all the hype, he's been one of the quarterbacks with all the hype that he's actually lived up to it. But he's got to take that next step. He's got to get past the Chiefs. He's got to make it to a Super Bowl and do something that that Buffalo doesn't really do, and that's win when they get there.
Yeah.
Lonzo, Rob, I got to ask you about this because I saw this all over Twitter after the Bills game. The Cam Newton comparisons to Mr. Josh Allen, are they accurate? Are they not? I'm not sure I quite know yet. I think the running ability is a reason a lot of people are saying that, the height, the size that he has, but I just feel like Josh Allen's a different kind of quarterback than Cam Newton. They're not the same guy. Josh Allen's a little bit more accurate. I mean, I love Cam, so I can say that, but those comparisons have been flying all over Twitter.
I don't think they're unfair. I don't think they're unfair. And I think that first long run that Allen had, right, he read it perfectly, right? He didn't panic. There's a lot of QBs that are, and I'm going to air quote this, running QBs, that the progression is 1, run, right? I'm going to look the primary down. If the primary's covered, I'm getting outside of the pocket, I'm taking off. You go back and you watch that run play, Allen scans field. He reads through his progression. He scans back through it to make sure nobody's come open while he was looking. Then, once he realizes he's got space to the left, he takes off. The difference is, once he gets out there, the dude's a physical runner, right? Like he's not, it's not that he's afraid of contact, but he puts guys on skates while keeping the ball away. I don't know what else you can say about this guy. There was nothing he did wrong in this game. I mean, I went back and I scanned back through the highlights because I'm like, I gotta find something. And he came out after the game. They said, what do you want to, what about this team? And he said, no, there's a lot we can get better. I was like, what? Stacking more fireworks in the end zone so you don't run out on the next game? I don't know. So I got to tell you, man, as far as he goes, I think the comparison to a young Cam Newton is just fine, with the addendum that he's a better passer. The dude is absolutely on target, yet still remains a threat to where you can't bring 2 extra guys, because if you put one hole anywhere on the second level of defense, Josh Allen's going to run through it.
Yeah, the thing is with Cam Newton, you knew every game he was going to have a couple passes that just, you look and went, why'd he do that? Or they would float on him. You don't see that with Josh Allen. And there's steps that he's going to have to take, and it's really progressing in the playoffs. He's reached that point where that's the next thing he has to do to prove himself. But he's been a really good quarterback. He's gotten better every year, and he's lived up to the hype.
And I think, Rob, you mentioned it, how he was cool as a cucumber. He was worried about, we can get better. There's more we can do. And you know why that is? Because he knows who is likely going to be waiting for him in that AFC Championship game, just like last year, Mr. Patrick Mahomes. And he knows the job is not done yet till he gets past that guy.
Yeah, and again, I'm not quite ready. I mean, I owe somebody a beer because I was going, this is a hoodie game, right? Like, it's going to be gross. It's going to be snowy. It's going to be outside. It's going to be against an offense that Bill has seen twice now, right? This is a hoodie game ripe for an upset. And the Patriots look lost. They look the most lost they have looked since Belichick became the head coach. In 17 years, I haven't seen the Patriots look that lost. I thought it was a custom-made Bill Belichick upset, but instead, the Patriots were just out of their depth against Josh Allen, and it didn't matter what they threw. Go back and watch. You're going to see like 4 or 5 different base defenses against that. They brought 3. It didn't work. They brought 4. Josh Allen just extended plays left and right. They brought 5 and 6, and he just ran around them. What was impressive, Lonzo, wasn't that Josh Allen was so good. It was that he was so good against so many different looks and never seemed panicked.
That's it. But you also got to give credit to the rest of the team and to the coaching staff. I mean, he's got a great team around him. He's got a really good coaching staff, and it all gels. There isn't a thing that you go, okay, they need to do this. Their defense needs to be better, or this needs to be better. This is fairly close to being a complete team.
If they had Tre'Davious White still right now in that secondary, I'd feel really confident right now picking them to make the Super Bowl. Do you feel the same way, Rob?
After what I saw, like I said, I don't want to panic. I don't want to start. I don't really want to go right now and go, oh, they were so dominant, they're the Super Bowl favorites. Because as you just pointed out, Patrick Mahomes has been here. He's done this. He did it last year, right? I'm looking across from him, and Tampa Brady is still sitting over there. The GOAT is still in charge right now. I'm looking I'm looking at 2 quarterbacks off the top of my head that have both been here and done this and know what it's going to take.
You're also leaving out Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, that's
who's
right.
Also
and we still got Aaron Rodgers sitting at home getting rested up, and not to. I know we're talking quarterbacks here, but Derrick Henry's back for the Titans. And the best way to stop a quarterback that's dealing the way that Josh Allen dealt this weekend is to run the ball at him 45 times and keep him on the damn bench. And if there's one guy I trust to do that, it's a fresh Derrick Henry who has not run in 14 weeks. And I promise you is chomping at the bit to get out there in the playoffs. There's still a hell of a lot of work to be done. But there was not a better looking team this weekend than the Buffalo Bills at all. There was not a team that played better. There were 3 other blowouts. And there was not a team that looked as dominant as Buffalo did. I would say Kansas City was right there in the neighborhood with them as well as they dismantled. But, and I'm not trying to take away from it, they played the Steelers who fell butt first into the playoffs, right? They beat the Steelers team that tripped all over themselves to get. They played the second worst team in the playoffs. And I only put Philly a spot behind Pittsburgh because I trusted in Tomlin and Roethlisberger, maybe not to be ready, but to be prepared for that game. But the freaking Bills just went up against a team that needs 2 hands to carry their last decade's worth of Super Bowl rings, and they made them look like the worst team in the playoffs, and they are not.
Right. And the thing that, Alonzo's a Chiefs guy. He can speak to this a little bit more than me, but it felt like the Chiefs just played down to the Steelers level for so long. And I don't know if that's just because Mahomes needed some time to get settled in, because as soon as that fumble happened and TJ Watt returned it for a touchdown, I believe it was 6 straight possessions or something like that. The Chiefs scored after that, which is what we expect to see from them. But I'm worried that the Chiefs, Eric Bieniemy, Reed are going to start making it a habit of playing down to opponents rather than playing the elite football we all know they're capable of, because that's what the Bills did. They took it to the max. They didn't care what was thrown at them. Like you said, if anybody is going to be able to throw a ton of looks defensively at another team and a young quarterback, it's Bill Belichick. And Brian Daboll and company did not flinch at all.
No, they didn't. So divisional rounds are now set up. Those Buffalo Bills will be on the road at Lonzo's Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC matchup atop. That is the number 4 Bengals are traveling to Tennessee, who got the bye. The only top seed that did not make it, the only divisional champ that did not make it out of the first round were the Dallas Cowboys, because of course they were. Over on the NFC side, Tampa Bay will host the LA Rams. By the way, the Rams look good against the Cardinals. I had a friend of mine, and I'll ask this question to both of you guys. Lonzo, I'll start with you. I had a friend of mine text me during that Monday night game last night and say, were the Cardinals any good at all, or are the Rams just that much better? And based on what I saw in the final week of the season against San Francisco, I got to tell you, Cliff Kingsbury is probably answering a lot of phone calls today.
Well, Arizona's lost a lot of games the last 5 or 6 or something like that. They lost quite a few after a strong start. And this is not me hating, even though it sounds like it. Kyler Murray is a little overrated. Once he starts taking hits, last night his height showed up or didn't show up. His height was a detriment. His height was a problem last night. And he looked adorable being sat on the sidelines, though, on the bench, though. Didn't you want to hug him, Rob? You just want to pick him up and tell him it's going to be – set him on your knee, tell him it's going to be okay.
That pick six was one of the worst playoff mistakes I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was pretty dumb. That was.
Yeah, that's terrible. Like, I know you don't want to take the 2 there. I get you don't want to take the 2 there. But in that moment, you've got to realize even the intentional grounding's better there. I mean, what a just a mistake. Which is, again, and you've pointed out, the Cardinals have lost a couple of high-pressure games in that spot. But much like Dallas, you can't make that mistake at that point, especially when LA's defense has been pushing you backwards more than you've been moving forwards. I like Kyler Murray. I think Kyler Murray's got it in him to be a younger, better Russell Wilson when it's all said and done.
Right.
But he can't make that mistake in that spot. Not if he's going to be that guy.
Yeah, and the Russell Wilson, that is not a new comparison by any means. A lot of people have said that because of the hype. But if he's ever going to get to that point, it's going to take time. This is, his first playoff appearance, if I'm not mistaken. There was the argument about the NFC West all year. Who was better, the Rams or the Cardinals? Most people thought it was the Cardinals because of the hot start. But I was never really convinced, one, because there's a guy on that defensive line named Aaron Donald. And Matthew Stafford, I still believed in. They have all the weapons. And this is the Rams team that I picked to win the Super Bowl at the beginning of the season, like a lot of other people did. If they can continue this, playing against Kyler Murray will be, is a lot different than, what they're going to have to do once they get into Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, whichever one, they play down the line in the NFC Championship game if they get there. But I'm kind of on board with Lonzo. Kyler Murray, if he's ever going to get to, his conference championship game and have a chance at the Super Bowl, he's going to have so much help. And he's already got a lot there. He's got one of the best receivers in football. Chase Edmonds and James Conner are a good 1-2 punch when they're both healthy. The offensive line isn't terrible. I mean, they just got J.J. Watt. They can't get a ton better, I wouldn't think.
It has got to come down to being able to look at the pressure. It's got to be able to come down to seeing what LA's doing and make adaptations. And it's the one thing Cliff Kingsbury did not do in that game. There were no adaptations. There was no tinkering. For a guy that's supposed to be young and quick and offensively minded, Sean McVay had him out-schemed from kickoff to final whistle. And it's like Cliff didn't even try to make a move. He did, we're just going to go out there and out-athlete him. I got news for you, kids. You can neutralize superior athletes by knowing weaknesses and attacking them. Sean McVay knows that. Cliff Kingsbury did not. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up hour number 2 and hour number 3 because it's Tuesday and Lonzo's here. Faces and heels coming up later on the show. I'm Rob. He's Zoe. Owen's at the controls on the Rob Brown Show. It's ESPN Upstate.
All right, Lonzo, back to you after this.
let me take a moment to tell you about the Health Dare. Now, what is the Health Dare? The Health Dare is a plan. It's not a diet. Diets don't work. You know what works? A plan works. A simple plan. A plan that is so simple, anyone can do it. Yes, even you. Anyone can do this plan. And there's only two things that you can't eat, but you know what you can eat? You can eat the food that's in your fridge, the food that's in your pantry. You can even have fast food and carbs. And you know what you don't have to do? You don't have to drink some nasty, disgusting shake. There is a diet around that I've seen where they hand you a packet of powder. You put that powder in water. You stir that water up, and it is a shake, and they call that a meal. No, it's not. That's a drink. It's not a meal. With the Health Dare, you don't have to worry about that. You're going to eat real food. The other cool thing about the Health Dare is you don't have to do it by yourself. You can bring a buddy with you. You can bring in a relative or even some guy you don't know, but you know they need to lose weight. And you pay half, they pay half. You guys both get the program. You both get healthy from a cellular level. You're going to look good. You're going to feel good. You're going to have the energy to face the day. And it's so easy to get started with the Health Dare. Just go to idareme.com, fill out some information, and one of the Health Dare coaches will bring you in for a free consultation, get you on the way to losing that weight. And don't forget, it is buy one, get one free. Go to idareme.com today. And when you're there, make sure you tell them that Lonzo dared ya.
Clear. I'm going to go use the bathroom real quick.
To ESPN Upstate and all the sports, news, music, and podcasts. Doing it for you and your people, do everything possible to see that it is all in one place. It's the Odyssey app for ESPN Upstate. Odyssey is your new home for all the audio that matters to you. Download the Odyssey app today. Get all the sports you love. Baseball, more basketball, and listen to ESPN Upstate. There's nothing worse than coming home from a cold day to find out that your heater isn't working. When this happens, you need an HVAC company you can trust. A company like Priority Heating and Air. Their HVAC specialist will give your system a thorough checkup. And if you need a new unit, Priority Heating and Air is a proud distributor of the Coleman line of HVAC systems. Keep your family or business warm this winter and give Priority Heating and Air a call today at 591-1847 or online at PriorityHeatingAirHVAC.com.
And his exact words were, "It changed my life. I used to spend a ridiculous amount of time trying to remove tomato sauce from inside our microwave and soap scum off the bathtub. It's like seriously magic. And my secret weapon for cleaning the kitchen, bathroom, floors and walls, and even keeping my sneakers clean. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser. Greatest invention ever."
Mr. Clean Magic Eraser. The unicorn.
You hear anything from Joe?
No, oh yeah, he sent me an email in the segment saying he had a family emergency and he'd catch up with us next week, so don't worry about it.
Okay, now I feel bad for calling.
No, it's all good. It's all good. We booked him. That's the gig.
Okay, Rob, after not this segment, but the next one.
Yep.
Top of the hour, you'll have a QC Kinetics.
Going out? No, not on the top of the hour segment. We don't have lives coming into or going out of an hour. Just hang on to it and put it in the first break of the last hour.
So that was the last. We're in the last break of this hour, right?
Yes.
So you got the ID coming up and all that stuff?
Yep.
So that would be in the first break of the next hour.
Yes.
All right, so everything's where it needs to be. You just said it wrong. We're good.
All right. Let's do it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, putting a bow on our numero dos as we work through the NFL wild card weekend. Only game we really haven't gotten too deep into is Lonzo's Chiefs laying it down on Big Ben and the Steelers in another game that frankly wasn't as close as the score indicated. Kansas City putting up 3 TDs in the second quarter, took a 21-7 lead into halftime, never looked back on that one. Big Ben probably calling it a career 29 of 44, 215, and a pair of touchdowns. But Patrick Mahomes, 30 of 39, 404, 5 touchdowns, 1 pick, a 138 QBR on the day. And Lonzo, the Chiefs ran out of touchdown fireworks in this game because of how successful that offense was, which is really all you can ask for.
Well, I think the biggest deal was Jared McKinnon coming out and running the ball. What the Chiefs have been missing has been a strong runner because Clyde Edwards-Helaire can't seem to stay healthy. McKinnon, who has a history of injury, he come out. That dude looks strong. He really did, and I think that's something Pittsburgh wasn't ready for. We'll see if Buffalo's ready. If he can stay healthy, and from what I understand, Clyde comes back next week too. What a 1-2 punch you got there to go along with all these speedy receivers and Travis Kelce. Offense looks good. If the defense can do something, looking really forward to next week. But, yeah, what a good game.
Hey, you talk about McCarron, 12 carries, 61 yards. How about popping 6 grabs for 81 yards and a receiving touchdown on top of that as well? This is the offense that we all picked Kansas City in the beginning of the year to go back to the Super Bowl because of, right? Like, we talk about teams going streaks, and it's not always the year-long best team that wins in the playoffs. It's the team that hits their stride going into the playoffs. Kansas City just did that. I mean, there's, again, much like Buffalo, if you asked me to go back and define what they could do better, I mean, I guess I would say that maybe that last touchdown from the Steelers, we could have seen a little bit tighter pass coverage late, but you're also at a spot where, you know, you're up 42-14 at that point. You're basically just asking the guys, hey, don't get hurt, right? Do what you got to do to not get hurt. I hate to do this because my whole thing is be critical and find the spots where things went wrong to improve on. I really got nothing for Kansas City and Buffalo. Everything went the way it was supposed to.
I mean, both of those last 2 touchdowns that Ben threw for the most part were garbage time TDs. Like you said, the score was a little bit closer for the first half. Like Mike Tomlin went in there and was able to play his brand of football, but we all knew it wasn't going to be able to last long because Big Ben just couldn't do anything. I mean, if I'm Tomlin headed into that game, I'm going in knowing that I'm going to give Najee Harris probably almost 40 carries for us to even stand a chance on offense.
All right, when we come back in the final hour of the show, we'll open up by looking at this weekend's divisional round matchups. Tennessee, after taking the week off, gets Derrick Henry back. They'll be hosting the 4-seeded Bengals led by Joey B. The Chiefs at home, Arrowhead, more fireworks on delivery as they host Josh Allen and the Bills. The Packers at Lambeau host the only wild card team to move out of the first weekend, the San Francisco 49ers, and Tampa Bay will get to stay at home one more time as Sean McVay brings his Rams down to Florida. We'll break down all those games down for you. We got faces and heels coming up and more on the Rob Brown Show. It's Rob, it's Lonzo, it's Owen, and you. This is ESPN Upstate.
Lonzo, if you heard anything, I said anything, I couldn't hear you. You said you needed a sound bed for this next segment, Rob?
Not the next one after that. This will be our regular opening intro.
Faces and heels should be in there. It's in the hotkey somewhere.
And boy. Fight Club. I'll see it. See lunch break. Oh, okay, there it is. I'm stupid.
ESPN Upstate is your home for play-by-play of Furman College basketball all season long. That's the Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders on ESPN Upstate.
Have you heard Offsides with Mark Ryan?
Woohoo's real bad. The hard part about the world coming down on a new fad, a new chant, a new this, whatever it might be, the harder you come down on it, the more you make them want to do it. Has nobody learned what teenagers are like at this point? The more you tell them not to do something, the more they're going to do. Every time, since the dawn of time, you tell your daughter, don't date that kid. He's got a leather jacket motorcycle. That's exactly who she wants to date. When will you learn? Here's what you need to do. You need about 1,000 nerdy, white Ned Flanders looking dudes to jump right up front with you and do the tag a car. And they'll automatically think this ain't cool anymore. If the dude in the white New Balances with the grass stains on him loves to do this, then it ain't cool. We need to stop.
The Upstate is talking about Offsides with Mark Ryan now 3 to 7 p.m. on ESPN Upstate. Radio.com is now Odyssey. Download the Odyssey app and listen to ESPN Upstate and all the sports, news, music, and podcasts.
We'll make sure you and your people do everything possible to see that it is
They're all in one place. It's the Odyssey app for ESPN Upstate.
All right.
Odyssey is your new home for all the audio that matters to you. Download the Odyssey app today. Get all the sports you love. And listen to ESPN Upstate. Morning.
And check this out.
On official Rob Brown lockdown. Real unfiltered sports talk manufactured locally.
So QC Kinetics after this.
Just break. Got it.
And away we go. The third, the final, the best, the money hour. The Rob Brown Show goes now. This is ESPN Upstate. Hello, Upstate South Carolina. Hello, America. Hello, world. I am Rob Brown. The great one, Lonzo, snowed in at the compound, but has ever so graciously decided to join us anyway. We are honored to have his presence alongside us here on the show. And
Yes,
of
you
course,
are.
sitting in the air chair today, pushing the button, switching the switches. My man, Owen Watterson, pulling the last-minute relief duty. Appreciate you coming in and working with this big fella. Let's do this, guys. Let's take a look at our divisional round. The Titans host the Bengals. The Chiefs host the Bills. The Packers versus the 49ers, and the Bucks taking on the LA Rams. Of course, Tampa Bay got a big win over the Eagles this weekend, and Green Bay got to sit at home while the LA Rams just decimated the Cardinals, and the 49ers walked it off against the Cowboys in magnificently moronic fashion from the Dallas Cowboys. And the AFC, the Kansas City Chiefs dominate the Steelers to move on. The Buffalo Bills slap the Patriots. They move on, and the Bengals outlast the Raiders to move on to the divisional round. Let's start with Titans Bengals, and guys, I don't think there's any way around it. Story of this one is Derrick Henry being back. He has been injured for the majority of the year. The dude was, I think, without a doubt, the NFL's MVP up until he got hurt. The only question is there any lingering impact from that injury? Derrick Henry could have played with 2 weeks left in the season. They actually almost dressed him out in week 17, considered it last minute, decided to list him as unavailable to save him up, because at that point they had the number 1 seed wrapped up, so it wouldn't have mattered. And then, of course, they got the bye week. So 3 additional weeks rest for Derrick Henry to get ready. To me, and I'll go with both of you guys and your thoughts here. To me, it's real simple. If Derrick Henry gets to 24 carries in this game and doesn't have any issue with injuries, I really think the Titans are the favorites in this game. I think ultimately that Cincinnati's a fun team. They're an explosive offensive team, But Tennessee's got the one thing that you have to do when you got Joey B and Lamar Chase and the Bengals wide receivers, which is keep them on the bench with 8, 9, 10-minute length of the field drives. If there's one team that I think can do it in these playoffs, it's the Tennessee Titans. Lonzo, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I agree. Derrick Henry is a scary guy. He is, and they won without him. So they're already good. And I think Vrabel is underrated. I think as far as a coach goes, I think he's very intelligent. I think he makes a lot of right choices. I think it was last year when he just outcoached Belichick, and by calling that, it was an amazing thing to see. And he learned underneath that tree. He knows what he's doing. They've been one step away several times, and here's the thing: you can take a long time to score a touchdown with your running game. You can take all the time off the clock, but when you got a quick strike offense on the other side that can score in 30 or 40 seconds, I think it evens out a little bit. I do give the edge to Tennessee, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means, and I think there's a good shot that Cincinnati can win this game.
Yeah, I'm with you, Lonzo. You know, I just love that you started out your Tennessee spiel by giving love to Mike Vrabel. That's exactly what I was going to do. I think just the fact that he's in Tennessee, you know, they got the number 1 seed and yet they still don't get talked about enough. I mean, I'm sure there's some casual folks out there that if you said, oh, the Titans got the number 1 seed in the AFC, they'd be thinking we were lying to them. So Derrick Henry makes a huge difference, but I think the Titans offense, it's the same question I've had about them since they re-signed Tannehill. Can he make the plays when they count? And he has before a couple times. We've seen it, but Cincinnati doesn't have the best defensive line. They don't have the best run stopping ability, and I think that is gonna show. But if they string together a couple stops, Tannehill's not able to make the short intermediate throws. I doubt he's going to be able to make the big plays that they need. If Cincinnati really gets going and they rip off a couple in the span of 5-6 minutes, that's when I think Tennessee is going to be in trouble because Ryan Tannehill's not going to be able to catch up to that offense. It really rests on Derrick Henry's shoulders. And maybe we're not giving enough love to the Tennessee defense here. I do want to say that they are an elite group that are coached even better. But the matchups on the outside, I'm really excited to see. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins is going to be massive in the red zone. Had him on fantasy all year, and that's dang near all they used him for was as a red zone threat most of the time. So they got the stuff to do it. Can Cincinnati stop the run, and can Ryan Tannehill make the throws to win the game if Derrick Henry isn't going?
Yeah, again, it's to me, I don't know if Tannehill can play catch up. Right? Like, I don't know if Cincinnati comes out with a hot start. And honestly, I think this is one of the few where if I'm Cincinnati, I want the ball on the coin flip, right? Like the strategy for most NFL teams has been defer to the second half and get the ball, let your defense go out there and set the tone. If I'm Cincinnati, I want the ball and I want to score early, right? Because I want Tannehill to feel like they have to throw the ball. I want to eliminate Derrick Henry from the game plan if there's any way I can do it. The problem is, unless it's a 2-score game, I don't think the Titans panic because Mike Vrabel is hard-headed. That's his nature. He's a linebacker. That's what they are. They're just hard freaking headed. And he's going to go, you know what? As long as they don't pull away by a couple of scores, because even if they do, right? At the end of the day, I mean, because Cincinnati's a decent running team. But they get up by 3 scores, they're still a passing team. And if any point we figure it out, we slow them down, all of a sudden Cincinnati possessions become, 45-second to a minute and a half, 3 and outs at tops. We get the ball back, we cram it right down their throat. As long as it's not in the waning moments of the fourth quarter, and as long as it's not 17 points or better, I'm not worried about it because Derrick Henry, for being the bowling ball that he is, and we know that he's a power back, deceptively fast. He's one of those. He's like when Kamara or McCaffrey when he's healthy. Any given touch of the football is a touchdown. Anywhere on the field, catching the ball, power run, ISO, draw, it doesn't matter. Any given touch of the ball is a touchdown for Derrick Henry, and Vrabel's going to run him that way, especially sitting on 3 additional weeks of health and rest. He's going to get his opportunities. All it takes is one to pop, and I agree with you, Alonzo. If the Cincinnati offense is clicking and putting the ball in the end zone, that's great. But Tennessee's defense is hard-headed up front. That's where they make their money, is in that line. You disrupt that passing game and go get you a 14-point lead. Now, all of a sudden, Tennessee's offense is grinding clock and just eating seconds up one after the next after the next. I like Tennessee in this game. I'm a Joey B guy. I'm a Lamar Chase guy. I think Lamar Chase is your offensive rookie of the year. Ain't no doubt about it. I frankly think Joe Burrow should be in MVP contention when the discussion gets had in the next couple of weeks. But when it's all said and done, I will in the playoffs take a team that can run 7.5, 8, 9-minute drives off the clock. And I don't know if there's going to be a team that does it better than Derrick Henry. The only question is, and we have seen plenty of first-round buys go the wrong way because teams take time off and they lose a little bit of the gears. That's for passing teams. Teams that run the ball aren't going to be as affected by that. And Lonzo, that is why I'm leaning Tennessee in this one, even though I am without a doubt a stand for Joey B.
Yeah, this is still pretty early. So yeah, I'm leaning Tennessee, but we can have injuries and hopefully it doesn't happen in practice. A lot of things can happen, and COVID could hit on one of these teams or both of them. So I think it's way too early to pick, but right now I'm definitely leaning towards Tennessee.
I think I'm the only one that's leaning towards Cincinnati right now. And the reason I am is not because I don't think they're more talented. I think they are in some ways, but their defense is the thing that scares me the most. But Cincinnati has nothing to lose in this game. I mean, it's Joe Burrow's second year. He played 2 games in his rookie season, something like that, because of the ACL injury. This is his first real season. They're in the second round of the playoffs with a rookie receiver, a second-year receiver in T. Higgins, a young defense. They have absolutely nothing to lose in this game. And I really think we're going to see that in the game plan. Just like Rob said, I expect them, if they win the coin toss, we want the ball. We're going to be the ones that try and set the tone, shove it down your throat through the air rather than on the ground, and really get ahead quick. Joe Burrow is the superior quarterback in this game, point blank, period. Like Tannehill, love his game management. He's been around the league a long time, but Joe Burrow is the superior, man under center in this game. I just don't know if that's going to be enough to make a difference, but I am leaning Cincinnati. You're right, though, Lonzo. It is a little too early to be making picks. COVID is what scares me.
I would make one argument because you said just a second ago, Cincinnati has nothing to lose. Yeah, they do. They're spotting the playoffs, right? They're spotting the playoffs. They have a game to lose that takes them out of contention with arguably the most proficient and prevalent offense that they have had ever, right? This is the best team Cincinnati's ever had. I'll go on the record. Now, I again, not a big Bengals guy, but the best offense Cincinnati's ever had, ain't a doubt about it. But to say that they have nothing to lose, I'm gonna disagree with you on that. This is the NFL playoffs. This is not week 16 and the Bengals are already locked out and they're going after the 1 seed to prove that they can win. This is their chance. And this is Joey B and Lamar's chance to put themselves on that map. Lonzo, to say that there's no pressure on Cincinnati here, I can't agree with that.
I think this is one of those things that you don't know what you don't know. And they're going places they haven't been, and no one on that team's probably been. And I think they're going to go in with it with reckless abandon, and they're going to have a lot of fun. I think that's the difference. They're going to have a lot of fun, and it's going to be all business for Tennessee.
Nobody expected these guys to be here. We knew they were going to be talented. We knew if Joe Burrow's knee was right and he had some protection on that offensive line. Shout out Clemson graduate Jackson Carman, who is doing a fantastic job at guard for them. The offensive line has really come together way better than I thought it would. But Rob, nobody thought these guys were going to have any chance of making it to the AFC Championship game. Let's be honest. And just like Lonzo said, they're going to play with reckless abandon. Joey B is going to have the time of his life, ready to light up a cigar just like he did after they won the national championship game and say,
Smoking Joe, baby.
Right. I love Joe Burrow just as much as you do, but I disagree with you. They weren't supposed to be here. I think they know that, and they sure as heck are going to play like it.
Let's get to the other AFC game, the Chiefs and the Bills. The Bills avenged their defeat to Kansas City in the 2021 AFC Championship game when they knocked off the Chiefs 38-20 back in week 5. In that game, the Chiefs had zero answer for Josh Allen, 315 and 3 touchdowns, rushed for 59 and another one as well. But since that mark, the Chiefs have gone 11-2. Patty Mahomes threw 5 TDs against the Steelers in the wild card round win. Lonzo, of the 4 games this weekend, this is the one that I'm going, I don't know. Because Josh Allen played as well as he's played since week 5 when they knocked off the Chiefs, but this is a completely different Kansas City team than we saw back in week 5. If there is one game that I will not miss this weekend, it's this one.
And good thing to put it on a Sunday night, so it's the highlight game of the week. And I'm scared to death of this game. I'm not going to act like that I have all this confidence and bravado. This could go either way. This has the I think all the games should be good. I like all the matchups, but this one could have the potential to have more points scored than all the other ones combined.
Do you guys think this is the de facto AFC championship game? I know the Titans are the number 1 seed. We just talked about that for 10 minutes, but I have to think whoever comes out victorious after the scrap it out, grind it out game, high scoring that we think it's going to be, whoever they face in the AFC championship game, they're probably going to beat.
I'm going to go no for the reasons that I picked the reasons that I picked the Titans over the Bengals, right? Because the way that you saw, I mean, these two offenses in the Chiefs and the Bills, remarkably similar to each other, right? Dual threat quarterback, guys that extend plays, guys that you leave a single hole in the second level and that quarterback exploits it, whether it's through changing up the route or running it himself. The way you combat that is a solid power run game. And I don't know if there is a solid power run game left in the playoffs that is better than Tennessee's when they're healthy and if their chemistry is good. Don't sleep on Tennessee. And by the way, the biggest postseason bet that your boy has going, I got the Titans at 25-1 to win the Super Bowl. And I love that bet at 25-1 because, again, I think Green Bay can match up a little bit in their ability to run the football and have Aaron Rodgers slinging around as well. I think the Titans are drawn up perfectly to beat the Buccaneers, lacking as much power as the Buccaneers do. And every other team, it's a matter of keep their offense off the field and you'll be okay. The Titans are built to do that. So I would say whoever wins this game, I think whoever wins this game is the favorite in the AFC Championship game, whether they host it or not. I think they're the favorite, whether they play the Titans or the Bengals, but I'm not sleeping on Tennessee to make a run at either one of these teams just by keeping Allen or Mahomes or Joey B on the sideline by going on these long extended drives.
You know what? All 4 of these teams are capable of not only going to the Super Bowl, but winning it. And I like that. I like the fact that they all are pretty good as opposed to what we got last week where you could tell some teams probably didn't belong. This time, these are the 4 best, at least in the AFC and probably in the NFC too. These are the best teams in the league, and I'm looking forward to all these games. And any of them could win.
All right, let's flip over to the NFC real quick before we take our break. We're looking at the 1 seed Green Bay, a weekend off for Aaron Rodgers to work on that hair. They are going up against the only wild card team to make it out of the wild card round, the San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco's come alive the last 3 weeks, right? I mean, they have absolutely come alive. That being said, the Dallas Cowboys, for San Francisco to go in there and win that game, needed Dallas to just brain fart all over the field late to make that happen. The X factor is Debo. There's no arguing that. This dude is make or break for the 49ers. The problem is the 49ers showed a lot of what they have with him running a de facto running back spot last week. Green Bay real stiff at the point of attack, but at the end of the day, if we go shootout here, reminding ourselves it's in Lambeau, reminding ourselves it's going to be miserable cold, I'm going to take the pack with the home field advantage. This is why that 1 seed has become so important in these playoffs. If this game's in San Francisco, I give the Niners a little bit more of a chance, Owen, but this being in Lambeau in the cold, Aaron Rodgers is at home here. Give me the pack.
Yeah, I'm with you. I really so desperately want to lean towards the 49ers because Kyle Shanahan is probably one of my favorite coaches in the entire National Football League. I mean, the creativity he has on offense, he stays cool as a cucumber most of the time. He's had a subpar quarterback at best for years now, and year after year, they make the playoffs. They get past the first round. They have a chance. And like you said, Rob, if this was in San Francisco the last time these two teams played, what was the NFC Championship game either a year or two ago? I mean, the 49ers took it to the Packers. It was not even close, but I don't know that a number 1 seed matters as much to many teams as it does to Green Bay at this time of year. I mean, that cold is going to make all the difference. That place is going to be slam packed. And yeah, give me the Pack for sure.
Zoe.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards the Packers. First of all, I want to say that Aaron doesn't have to work on that hair. As someone with beautiful hair myself, it just happens. It does. You don't have to do anything. You wake up, there it is, and you're good to go. The rest, I think, is going to help them, especially going to help his ailing toe. And Debo is amazing. He is. He was amazing in South Carolina. I think San Francisco, they finally woke up and realized, you know what, we can do some other stuff with this guy. And they started using him more, and he's scary. He is an X factor for San Francisco. And even when you know someone who's that talented, you know what they're going to do. Doesn't mean you can stop them all the time. But I'm leaning Green Bay also. But Debo, he's amazing.
Yeah, two big breaks from Debo. San Francisco can win this game. I am not picking against Debo Samuel. I am picking in favor of the Green Bay Packers at home at Lambeau. It's just a tough place to play in the cold, in the sleet, in the snow, in the rain. And the 49ers need to be able to run wide open. It is hard to run wide open. You look at all the pass-heavy offenses that have had to go play NFC wildcard divisional and championship games all the way back to, the Saints 06 in the snow with Reggie Bush and Marcus Colston. Couldn't do it. A lot. Not all teams can do it, but a lot of the one seeds that have had to go to Green Bay in the past couple of years have struggled in wildcard and divisional rounds. I don't think this is any different. I'll take the Pack. And finally, the Bucs hosting the Rams in this one. I got to tell you, Zoe, you might get your wish. I'm very tempted to call upset here. I got the Bucs over the Eagles, but I think the Eagles were the worst team in the playoffs this year, and that includes the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a good Tampa Bay team. They got Brady. They got Arians, the QB whisperer. That's all well and good, but there comes a point where you're just out of bodies. You're just out of guys, and they're going to get some back. I think Gray comes back this weekend for the Buccaneers, but you're talking about a track star, not the number 2 wide receiver. Fast as hell, but a track star, not the number 2 wide receiver, when all they have is Mike Evans catching balls for Tom Brady and Gronk coming across the middle, which is a huge threat. Don't get me wrong. With Cam Akers running the way he did last weekend against the Cardinals, with that offense being as wide open it is with the threat, OBJ suddenly looked alive again in that game yesterday. The Rams have had their weapons open up the last 3 weeks while the Bucs have lost theirs. I'm not ready to call it yet. I got some more deep diving to do, but Lonzo, I'm leaning calling the Rams in an upset on this one.
Here's the thing. Tristan Wirfs is in a walking boot.
Yep.
And when he went down last week, so did Brady. So what do you think Aaron Donald's going to do? He is licking his lips. He's excited. He cannot wait for this game. He's going to take Brady down a bunch. If with their ailing line, that is the biggest problem for Tom Brady right now, is him staying upright. And, he's had answers for that sort of thing in the past, but he also had a better coach in the past. I'm definitely leaning towards the Rams in this, and a lot of it has to do with that lineman being hurt.
Right. I mean, Tristan Wirfs, ever since they drafted him in the first round, that first offseason, Tom decided to make it Tampa Bay. I mean, he has been elite at left tackle. Like, Tom Brady couldn't have walked into a better situation as far as the receivers, the offensive line he had. And Alonzo, you're right. If that guy's out, Brady might just be screwed. I mean, Jalen Ramsey on Mike Evans, give me that matchup all day. I can't wait to watch that one. And Antonio Brown, if he's gonna be there, like Rob said, they have a ton of injuries right now. It's hard for me to pick against the defense that has Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey on it. I mean, point blank, especially when the Bucs have been as banged up as they had. Is this the game we finally see Tom's old age really show in the playoffs? I don't know, but I love that Rams offense. I believed in Stafford ever since we heard the Panthers were trying to trade for him. Like you said, OBJ looks awesome, and this is his first time in the playoffs, or at least the first time in a long time. That's for sure. And I'm sure he's ready. I know Cooper Kupp is. I know the rest of those guys are. Cam Akers is awesome. I'm not sure if they'll have Darrell Henderson or back, but that 1-2 punch when it's healthy is great. Man, I think I'm going Rams. I'll go ahead and pick the Rams.
Oh, you're going on the record. I like it. We're going to have full breakdown of these games later on in the week. Let's take a break. When we come back here in just a minute, faces and heels. Lonzo, Owen, and I will take a look at some socially ambiguous situations and see who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. Gotta pick somebody. No fence riding here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Tell you about my friends at QC Kinetics. Listen, joint pain is going to happen, all right? If you figure out how to not make it happen, congratulations on being a superhero. But for us mere mortals without capes and the ability to fly, maybe some really cool boots, joint pain is going to happen because that connective tissue in your joints is going to wear down over time because it's getting used. That's how moving works. So when it does and stuff starts rubbing that ain't supposed to rub because you're out of that connective tissue, you need to call my friends at QC Kinetics. Go to their website, QCKINETIX.com, QCkinetics.com, and you can find out how their non-surgical regenerative therapy can help you. This is therapy that does not involve drugs, steroids, anesthesia, getting cut open, physical therapy, etc. You go in, you get the therapy. It harnesses your body's natural healing power. What it does, when you're younger and you don't have joint pain because that connective tissue is able to heal and regenerate itself, and then it just stops one day because getting old's not fun. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what you're going to find out is that they can kickstart that regeneration. They can kickstart that healing using that power your body already has and has evolved to use. Want to learn more? 864-448-3772. Mention the Rob Brown Show. Get that first consultation for free with our friends at QC Kinetics.
All right, Owen, let's set up that last break.
Oh, what'd you say, Lonzo?
Let's set up that last break.
Okay, cool. So let me go down.
All right.
So I got the rejoin, the set mode, the ID.
All right, so after the executive workflow, put in 2 more set modes.
Okay, 1 second. After
the executive workflow, yes.
Okay, they're there.
And you know what? Take that put the set mode between the ID and the executive workflow. Take that out of there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So between those 2 set modes you just put in a Rob Brown 60, a game promo, and the offsides intro.
Okay, in between. So Rob Brown 60, game image, you said?
Yes.
Rob Brown, game image. What's the next one?
The offsides intro.
Offsides intro. The show open?
Yeah.
Show open. Yep. Okay, so I got at the end of the hour, I got the rejoin, set mode, ID, execute workflow, set mode for Sports Center, right? For ESPN?
Yes.
And then Rob Brown 60, game image promo, offsides open, set mode.
Right. Make sure you get out at 5950 with the ID and then pot up ESPN on the board.
Okay, cool. Perfect.
Everything's perfect except for the next segment.
Steven asked me in the chat, he said, if you got an order a hot dog, what comes on it?
Yep, you must answer the question per Steven. If you order a hot dog, what comes on it?
Should I wait till we're on air to answer this question? Because I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of hate for the answer.
Yeah, good call.
Okay.
Good call.
I'll just have to wait. I'll have to cut it up. I forgot to start a new one for hour 3, so I'll just take this, cut it up after.
All good.
Steven, don't worry. I'll get you your answer, buddy. Oh, Lonzo got the light switch up.
Oh, okay. Okay, Zoe. Okay.
The LED lights.
I'm going to be the heel no matter what, so I might as well change the color to heel color.
Lonzo just looks red right now. Oh, my goodness.
That's freaky. Cool.
All right, we're coming back.
You got the faces and heels? All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for one of my favorite segments in Lonzo's Least. He has changed the backlighting in the Zoe Cave to red because he acknowledges that he's going to be the heel today. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, for Faces and Heels.
I'm the bad guy. Duh.
Hands. Are we the baddies?
Yeah, it'll run. Just let it roll.
You always were Paul Gorman.
I'm not the bad guy, kid.
Okay, fine. You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
It's not because people don't like you, man. You know, it's not because people don't want to give you a chance. It's because you suck. You know? You suck.
I'm not a bad guy. I'm not a good guy. I'm the guy.
All right, Faces and Heels, where Lonzo, I, and today Owen take a look at some socially ambiguous situations and try to see if we can figure out who's the good guy and who is the bad guy. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Faces and Heels, Lonzo's very favorite segment. Let's jump right into it. This one I love. Guy is a dad. Guy's a dad. He's got 3 kids and a wife at home. He says, I acknowledge as a father and husband that a lot of things that were singularly mine before my kids aren't. My wife steals my clothes. My wife and kids steal my food. My kids play with my phone. And I'm fine with it most of the time, but sometimes I just need some me time. He said that after going to the grocery store, well, he bought all the groceries for the fam. He also bought himself a little bit, just a single slice of chocolate cake. And he said he got to the house and realized that if he went into the house with his piece of chocolate cake, that he was going to have to share it with the other 4 people in the house, and it was 1 slice. He said, so I sat in my car and ate the chocolate cake. He said, unfortunately, while I was sitting in the car eating the chocolate cake, the wife came out to take the trash out, caught me eating the cake, and then got very upset with me for not bringing the cake in to share it with her and the 3 kids, and now is straight up not talking to him because he was selfish with his chocolate cake. Because this is Lonzo's favorite segment, I will let him go first.
All right, the guy is the heel because, you know, family means sharing. And there's something called self-control. And I know that I didn't have any at one point and weighed 400 pounds. If you continue to sneak cake all by yourself when you could be sharing that cake with the family, smaller portions, which would make it, you know, put less weight on you, that obviously makes you the heel. Very, very selfish. You get a family knowing you're going to share with the family. And there's the other thing is, the other reason why you're a heel is because you're flaunting it. A smart person, no, you're flaunting it because you eat the cake at the store parking lot. You have gum that you chew afterwards. You check your teeth with your phone, make sure there are no remnants of the chocolate. You have a little brush in your car, make sure you get all the crumbs out. You get rid of all the signs. You are a heel. You drove home. You sat in the driveway and ate it knowing you were going to get caught. Heel.
Owen.
He's not in the wrong here. Is that so? That's a face, right, Rob? Is that what we're going here?
Face is the good guy.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with this man. The dude went and got all the rest of the groceries. He probably just forgot after putting them all in the car. If this was just 1 slice, like if we're talking a whole cake, and he was sitting out there just chomping it down, and the wife's like, "What the heck are you doing?" You know, then this is a little different. But if this dude had a singular, like we're talking a Hershey pie size slice of cake, absolutely nothing wrong. The guy went to the grocery store for his family, got everything, and was like, you know what? I'm going to treat myself with a slice of cake. He didn't eat it beforehand, just like you said, just like somebody say it looks like Lonzo has done this before, parking lot eating. Yeah, he's not in the wrong here. Let the man enjoy his slice of cake, and that wife needs to talk to him.
So, a couple things. Number 1, eat the cake at the grocery store still, all right? Just take it to the parking lot.
I will concede that one.
Eat it in your car. All right. Make sure, as Lonzo said, you got the wet wipes. You got a little minty gum that you pop in when you pull into the driveway. Here's the thing. Do you know what it's like to look into the face of a small child as you consume chocolate when they go, "Can I have a piece?" and to say no to them? Do you know what that feels like?
Oh, yeah. See, if that was the case and you're doing that, then you're wrong. But this man was just trying to enjoy it in his car before he brought all the groceries in. He just bought so his family could have some more food. You feel me?
Ladies and gentlemen, I do know what that feels like because I will absolutely tell your kid no. Absolutely will tell your kid no. All right? I got no problem. I don't have a kid. I guess that's part of the reason why. Because if I'm somewhere and I'm eating my chocolate cake and little kid's up, "Can I have a bite?" No, man, sorry, this is mine. Ask your mama, right? My dude did the chores. He got himself a little sliver of chocolate cake as a reward. Eat your cake, dog. Eat your cakes. It is okay. I don't know why it is that we got to the point. I understand that relationships are sharing. I agree. Relationships are sharing. But relationships are also being yourself within a partnership. And it's okay to have your own thing sometimes. It's okay to have your own thing. And if your own thing in this moment is a piece of cake, eat your cake and enjoy it. It's your cake. If she wants chocolate cake, she can go get her some chocolate cake. You watch the kids while she goes and gets some cake. It's fine. Now, if you want to make it real easy, just bring home half a cake and give a little something to everybody and solve the problem. But if you don't want to do that, or your kids can't have chocolate after 9 or whatever, eat your cake. Who cares? All right,
what are they, gremlins? Are they gremlins or something?
Here we go. Number 2. 19-year-old young lady lives with a roommate who is also a 19-year-old young lady. She says their roommates are not friends. This happens. Sometimes you just bunked up with somebody you don't know because it's the easiest way to do it. They're not friends, and she says the other girl has a boyfriend of 6 months who is 21 who hangs out in the apartment all the time. She says he's a little messy, but whatever. My roommate's happy. I'm not gonna bump. Anyway, she said, but we share a fridge and we all put our separate food into the fridge. She says the boyfriend of the other girl is allergic to nuts and has made it known. And the young lady says, I do what I can. And if I make something with nuts, I wipe down the counter. I try to, if I cook for everybody, I don't put nuts into the food, whatever. But I put nuts into my own food. She said, I put leftovers into the fridge. I made something with nuts in it, like a curry or something. I put it into the fridge. I didn't label it, but it's in my container. The boyfriend came home. The boyfriend ate it. The boyfriend had to go to the hospital with an allergic reaction. She said the roommate is now absolutely furious with her for not labeling that these leftovers included nuts and blames her for the boyfriend, saying that she should be responsible for those medical bills. Oh, and you're up first on this one.
The roommate is 100% the heel in this situation. Like, I'm allowed, this is also my living space. I'm allowed to make my own food and not label it. If that boyfriend had the audacity to just ransack the fridge and grab the first thing he saw and like, oh, I'm going to eat this, knowing very well he has a nut allergy, you got to ask somebody what's in it first. I mean, isn't that 101 of having an allergy? That's on that dude and his girlfriend.
Lonzo.
The person cooking the food is the heel. She knows that someone could die because of it, and should not. Nuts are not that important. You know what? If you need to have something like cashews or something in your Chinese food, go eat it out. Don't leave the potential for someone to die in your refrigerator. We do have someone who works at ESPN Upstate who has a peanut allergy. And I would never sit across from them and eat trail mix and offer the trail mix to that person. I never would have done that. That would have made me a heel also. She's definitely the heel. Be considerate. I mean, you're living with this person. Someone could die. Just don't put nuts in your food. It's all right.
Or, hear me out. The ultra heel in this is the boyfriend. Don't eat other people's leftovers. They ain't your leftovers. If you are hungry, make yourself some food. If you are hungry and don't want to cook often, make yourself a bunch of food and have your own leftovers. The minute that you popped open her food and decided, this is mine now, you know what else here is? The consequences that come with that. And I would be doubly cautious if I knew I had a life-threatening allergy.
There you go. That's the thing.
Peanut,
yeah.
I'm done. If I knew, hey, if I eat the wrong food, I could, die from it. I'm probably not going around shoveling other people's stuff into my mouth. I'm going to make damn sure I know what it is, what's in it, where it came from, and how it was prepared. That would be true if I went into a restaurant. If I went into a restaurant and I said, hey, I need this, can you ensure me there's no nuts? And they've said, oh, there's a chance. I'm going, all right, well, I'm not eating it. I'll just bring my own salad or whatever. The only heel in this is the boyfriend. The only heel is the boyfriend. Don't eat other people's food, bro. If it ain't yours, it ain't yours, homie.
Lonzo, if we're here at work and said person with a peanut allergy decided, I didn't bring any food today, I'm hungry. They went into the office, opened the fridge, and just saw somebody's food sitting there. I was like, that's it. That's the one. Looks uneaten. I'm going to grab it, and just started chowing down on it without asking anybody what it was, what was in it, how it was made, and they had an allergic reaction to it. That is then their fault, right? Not the person's for leaving it in the fridge.
That's different though. I mean, that's at work, and that person would never do such a thing as to eat out of the refrigerator.
That's fair.
Because he's at his apartment all the time when he does a show. He would never do that sort of thing. But I think Rob's right, and I should have thought about it better. It is the boyfriend. You're right. It's the boyfriend, because if you have those allergies and you could die, you don't just grab food and go, let me eat this.
Yeah.
We are victorious, Rob.
Yeah. All right, last one, then we'll take a break. Here we go. This is a dad. They got the dad and mom have two kids together, an 11-year-old boy and a 13-year-old daughter. The wife is a stay-at-home mom, and she had to go to take care of her mom, who was sick. So the dad has one day where he calls off of work to take care of the kids. He said, my wife usually makes really healthy food for the kids, so I thought one cheat day wouldn't hurt. Said that he made them some pancakes with extra syrup for breakfast because that's what they wanted. Said they wanted burgers and fries for dinner, so I hooked them up. Gave them a little extra peanut butter ice cream. Said my wife doesn't like superhero movies, so the kids rarely get to watch them. I took him out to watch the new Spider-Man movie. Basically, I made it a fun day doing what my kids wanted to do. Said the wife came home. The kids told them all about how fun the day was. He said the wife started saying that I'm an irresponsible father, should not have been so lenient with the kids for an entire day, and that I am a lost cause at parenting, and that she would never leave the kids alone with me again because of my irresponsibility. I kind of feel like this one's obvious, but I also already have found some people that disagree. Lonzo, you're up first on this one.
Obviously, the mom is the heel here. To the children, the dad is the hero. And what kind of strict life are these kids having to live? No superhero movies, no hamburgers, no ice cream. I mean, that sounds like a good Saturday to me. And so when the dad is home, does he not get to do the stuff with his kids? It should be equal. It should be the, hey, we need to let them have some culture and some things. I don't get it. I don't. I would hate to live with that person as my mother.
Yeah, that'd be tough, man. I mean, like Rob said, I think this is a little obvious. The wife is the heel. I mean, the woman is the heel, excuse me. I mean, if you got this time with your kids, like that's the whole point. I mean, women complain about, these dads get their kids and they just stay in the house. They don't have anything planned. At least this guy planned something. You know what I mean? Like, he took him to a movie, he gave him good food, and he gave him ice cream. And it was just one day.
Irresponsibility would be you're on your own, kids.
Right.
Make it through the day till mom gets home. This kid dadded the hell out of that day. This dude dadded the hell out of that day. What do y'all want? I got you some peanut butter ice cream, some hamburgers, and some French fries. Spider-Man movie. We're going to play mini golf. This dude dadded hard, and mom's like,
Those kids were in heaven.
Salads, Discovery Channel, and a 7 o'clock bedtime. No. Mom's a heel. Get out of here with that weak sauce, Mom. They're kids. Let's take a break. One quick segment, then Twitter trending topics to wrap it up. I got your responses on the text line and more. It's the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
All right. Rob, do you want to combine these next two breaks?
No.
So we have one big last one?
How much time is there between the two of them?
2, to 3 minutes, like almost 4.5 minutes.
In each one?
This one we're on right now has This one's almost got 3 minutes, and then the next break is 4.5.
Yeah, go ahead. You know how to do it?
Yeah, just
that'll
just
work.
delete this sub mode and you're All right.
Owen.
Oh, sorry, Lonzo.
One thing you need to change is to come back with a rejoin. Since you're combining the breaks, come back with the Twitter trending topics.
Okay.
And it has a bed under it already. So,
Is it
so get rid of the
20... All right. Rejoin gone. Twitter trending topics.
Do you have any Twitter trending topics?
I don't, but I can get on Twitter right now.
Well, you need to. So the premise is you tell Rob what's trending, and he will tell everybody why he thinks it's trending.
That didn't work. Just get on my phone. So I just tell him what is trending, and he just says why.
Yeah. Do like a combination of entertainment and sports and all that. Yeah.
No problem.
Try to stay away from politics.
Yeah, that's no problem.
Because there's always something political trending. I stay away from those. Then when we're done here, I'm going to take the dress warm and make the trek down to where my car is and see if I can make it up the hill. Maybe.
Hey, Lonzo, can you do a read for Upstate Golf Card?
No, Rob has to do that.
Yeah, he just left. He's got a second. I need him back though.
You could he may have went into the office, so you can run over there and yell for him.
Okay. BRB. Supposed to be after the next segment. It's just sitting here.
Yep, that's fine.
Okay,
It's after this break?
Yeah, we
Or
got
after the spot.
We got a second. Yeah, I go ahead and move it.
Just point at me when it's time.
Yep. Grab a set mode. All right.
Tell you about the 2022 Upstate Golf Card that's on sale right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a golfer. I am a person who plays golf. Not well, but I enjoy doing it. And I would like to do it, I don't know, like 10 times this year, which is why I have an Upstate Golf Card for 2022. $99. You're getting 18 holes at 10 of the best Upstate golf courses like the Preserve at Verde, the Rock Golf Club and Resort, Rolling Green, and others. It's just that simple, ladies and gentlemen. You go to upstategolfcard.com. All of the courses are listed there. The whole thing's set up for you in one beautiful website. You pick yours up. It's $99. In fact, what you ought to do is get you like 4 of them. Right? It's like $400. You're getting 4 of these things. But every weekend you take a different 3 friends out and they're going to go, "Oh my gosh, you're so nice paying for a whole round of golf for me. This is great." And you're going to go, "You're right. I'm the best friend you've ever had. You should love me more." And you're not going to tell them that it's $10 a round. You're not going to tell them it costs you $10 to take them out for a round of golf. Go to upstategolfcard.com to get yours today. It's the 2022 Upstate Golf Card. Hashtag nailed it.
So
hey, Zoe, you want to do Twitter? You got him?
I already talked to him about it. I can't exactly.
A couple already.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
that's fine. I didn't know y'all talked about it.
You was out the room, yo.
Yeah, yo. How many topics is good, Rob?
However many we can fit. We should have, about 6 minutes? Probably 5. That's perfect. So you bring us back from this break. Yeah.
Honestly, I think these 4 are enough. 1 sports, 1 game, 1 entertainment.
Perfect.
Should I bring this back? Twitter trending topics.
It's time for Twitter trending topics. I'm going to tell you what's trending on Twitter. Rob and Lonzo are going to tell us what they know about it.
Got it.
Something like that. Is Cracker Barrel one of them by chance?
You want me to make it one?
Yeah. I don't force these often, but this one I got to talk about.
Hope it's nothing that will make me spew.
Do you not like Cracker Barrel?
No. I mean, we just ate there last week. So if it's something bad and, like.
Oh.
I'm glad we combined there, actually. Dude, did you see this concert, Rob, that they're doing in Vegas in October?
Dude, that's like my high school.
Yes.
Avril Lavigne. I was
Still
in
some
love
of my
with
favorite.
Avril
I
Lavigne.
love My Chemical Romance. Still one of my favorite bands. I was gonna put that on there, but that is an awesome concert. The Used, Jimmy Eat World, like it's 2006, literally.
I was going to go old man joke here, but I know everything you just said, so I can't do that.
Dance all night.
Wonder if anyone would notice if I took a sledgehammer to that stupid speed bump.
It's on your property, isn't it?
Well, it's shared.
Oh.
It's time for Twitter trending topics, everybody. We got a couple of interesting ones out here today. I'm Owen. We're going to see what Rob and Lonzo think about what's trending on Twitter right now. Starting with the guy we've talked about a little too much today, Brian Daboll. What do you guys think?
More importantly, Owen, if you go to a restaurant and you order a hot dog, what do you expect to come on it? Not what do you want on it. If you go order a hot dog, we go right now down the street to the hot dog place, and you ask for a hot dog, what do you expect to come on it?
Mayo, ketchup, mustard. That's it.
There you go, Lonzo.
Is that respectable at least?
No, that's the correct answer. Or any combination of 2 of the 3.
Right.
I'm not a mayo and mustard at the same. I can do ketchup, mayo, I can do ketchup, mustard. Can't do mayo and mustard at the same time. But Lonzo, Owen has joined our ranks on the line of the last stand versus the chili dog.
That's right.
I'm not a chili dog guy.
Well, you don't expect chili on your dog unless you order a chili dog.
Thank you. Like, I am not saying I need it unless I'm in a very specific place that is known for chili or something. If I say I want a hot dog with ketchup on it, it better not come with chili and ketchup. I'm going to be mad.
There you go. Brian Daboll's trending. By the way, for some reason, not for some reason, the dude's gotten there. But Brian Daboll is being considered on the short list of a couple of different head coaching jobs. Looks like the New York Giants have placed him towards the top. Same with Brian Flores, by the way, which is no shock. Flores is going to be a head coach next year.
Agreed.
The question is not if, but where at this point. I think I'd rather have Flores. I like Brian Daboll. I think Brian Daboll did a fine job. But Brian Flores is my pick.
Yeah.
Which, of course, means that the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to hire Bill O'Brien.
Well, let's move on to the next one. This was requested by Rob, so I'm very interested to see what he has to say about it. # Cracker Barrel.
All right. So I'm a big fan of the Cracker Barrel.
Okay.
All right. Lonzo, I believe. Lonzo and the fam are fans of the Cracker Barrel as well.
Yeah, except when I'm recognized and people just watch me eat. That's a problem. But shout out to the guy who did it. I'm glad you listened to the show.
Yeah, love it. So Cracker Barrel is trending because they are having to pay out a $9 million. And by the way, I am probably going to go to Cracker Barrel after I get off the air. All right. I want that to be abundantly clear. But a $9 million payout because a man ordered some water to drink and instead was brought a glass of cleaning acid, which he then proceeded to consume. $9 million because my dude drank cleaning chemicals instead of water. And the only question I have, and I don't put this on Cracker Barrel, all right? I've been to Cracker Barrel 1,000 times. I'll go 1,000 more. Chicken fried steak with okra and dumplings for the win every time. Big fan. How
do you make that mistake, man?
Yeah.
Like that person should be sued into the ground for quite honestly well more than $9 million. I'm sure that dude had a chance of dying from that.
Well, yeah. How is he alive? And also, Rob, how can you not order the apples? I don't know. You got to get apples.
Dude, I love
the fried apples.
I love the fried apples. That glaze is perfect. Hashtag Team Cracker Barrel. I will see you there.
Quick fire. Hashtag paid in Bitcoin.
Yeah, a lot of athletes are starting to get their paychecks in Bitcoin instead of cash, which I guess I understand to some degree because Bitcoin has exploded both in popularity and in value over the years. If they came to me right now and said you have to pick one, you can get your entire salary next year in Bitcoin or in American dollars, I'd say I'd have a hard time because there's a ceiling to Bitcoin somewhere. Problem is, I don't know if it's close or if it's hit. I guess that's how stock markets work. There's a part of me that thinks I'm intrigued enough that I would take it in Bitcoin because there is a ceiling, but I don't know that there's a floor, right? Like, I don't know if there's a spot where it's like, this is the base value. It's never going to drop below this. I don't know, Lonzo, if you got the opportunity to take your entire salary in Bitcoin next year, which one are you taking?
The celebrities that are pushing the Bitcoin, I don't actually trust. So I'm going to go with the dollar. Even though it will go up and down, I can hold the dollar. I can't hold the Bitcoin.
Right. And this next one, the last one I have after this, I know Lonzo will know why it's trending. So this next one, Daniel Radcliffe is trending. Do you know why?
You damn sure I know why. It is because Daniel Radcliffe, it has been announced, is going to be portraying Weird Al Yankovic in a biopic.
What?
Biopic.
Yep.
What?
Harry Potter has been selected by Weird Al Yankovic himself.
Weird Al picked
Weird
him.
Al, and he put out a statement earlier because the last Weird Al movie came out 33 years ago. He said, I dedicated my life to releasing a Weird Al movie every 33 years, and Harry Potter will be playing Weird Al. Lonzo, I'm going to tell you straight up, opening night, baby. Opening night.
If the accordion playing doesn't look real, I'm rioting.
All right, last one. Microsoft is trending. Lonzo, I know you know why. Hit it.
I don't know because I've been stuck in the snow.
I do. Microsoft has agreed to buy Activision Games for $67 billion, Lonzo.
Sounds about right.
I don't hate it.
They now have the singular rights to Call of Duty, Overwatch, and some others, which is going to be a big deal.
Microsoft is creating one giant gaming Netflix platform, and I love it. Lonzo might be with us tomorrow. We'll find out. Either way, appreciate it. Y'all have a great day. Diesel and Mark are up next with Offsides. We'll see you tomorrow on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. Later, brother. All right. Thanks, Lonzo.
Bye-bye.
Is this set mode supposed to be here?